Julia has a cold, right?
Right.
And while she has a cold, uh, Sep is being edgy again. What else is new? Uh, Padoro Padoro.
Alright,
And
you all
don't.
suck. I'm doing it.
No. Let me continue.
Okay.
And besides that, we last time kind of had a bit of a few things open up to us. Like, for example, Dawn opened up a whole new world to a bronze dragon down below. Sadly, the whole new world was kind of full of people who wanted it dead, and they rolled kind of high. So he lasted about 4 rounds before dying. R.I.P. Bronze Dragon. R.I.P. As for the rest that happened, well, Alistair was in the middle of escaping prison, and he had along him a tiny gnome by the name of Alarin, who wanted to retrieve his foul Iron Man suit, and Verona, the edgy-ish French lady. Now, in their attempts to escape, they sneak attacked a guard, and another guard they managed to persuade to, hey, let us go. He was like, yeah, okay. And then he was left alive. After that, they got Alarin's Iron Man suit. He punched the guard so hard, he died, only to be weakened by the greatest and strongest hero protagonist of them all, Prisoner number 7, who did his best, but of course, he was a side character and he died. R.I.P. Prisoner number 7. And besides that, afterwards, a warder was sent out to capture Alistair back to Vercel, and he had a few lackeys with him. And since Sep doesn't believe in the heart of Varros towards his attacks, he decided to, you know what, I'm gonna try to persuade you, these people to stand down. It worked until it didn't, and then the warder kind of, stabbed Alarin in his Iron Man suit a little too hard, but they managed to actually get the hatch open, and the, the last few ditch efforts, Verona looked at Alistair and said, and basically recreated the scene from Lion King where Mufasa dies, as Alistair fell down to the sewers, assumingly dead to her eyes, as whatever else happened.
Yeah, I didn't mention it. I kind of glossed over Alistair escaping in the sewers, but that culvert was full of rampaging wildebeest.
Yes. So thankfully, the wildebeests down there in the sewers actually helped Alistair and were sent by Notrix to safely escort him out. Well, what about Don then? Why was he in the prison? Well, good question. Good question. Don flew down, helped Alistair, get the lay of the land, and then when he went out, he saw a seemingly younger version of Alistair waiting him outside, just casually tying up a guy and saying, hey, yeah, to him. And they both managed to escape, you know, without any other things. And after, and of course, Notrix's wildebeests were guided by the brave and courageous Alcana, who managed to grab Alistair, and they rode off into the sunset outside. And later on, the rest of the group met up under a seemingly inconspicuous tree who happened to look like Notrix, as they all shared their little thoughts about what happened with Peyton and his last goodbye. And in the midst of that, Worsen did spill the beans about a little of his past, a little what he's done, and helped them understand him a little better. After that was done, they ra- were heading northish, away from the prison, to some place, and then they ran into some goblins who held up a giant in their captivity. Now, at first, the goblins thought that this crew were bounty hunters, but after persuading them, the goblins were like, yeah, these guys are cool, and they just went on. But what the group failed to realize is that the hill giant that was in captivity of the goblins held a few prisoners on his own. So it was basically Inception, but with captivity. And one of these people that was held captive on the in a bag, hold it up forever, is a rather familiar dwarf compatriot or whoever. We don't know yet because we don't have a word of God to confirm or deny that. But yes, that's where we are now.
Indeed, that is where you are now. Uh, as you have made this trek after your harrowing escape from Fort Ulthus, Alistair, you've led the people through these forests, through the forests that lie to the west of Ardoyne proper, far to the west. And now, in this sort of late afternoon, early evening, as the sky coming through these bright leaves of these autumnal trees is sort of a dark gold. And it seems like Alcana's managed to satisfy this odd troop of goblins. And they've turned their back to you. You can see sort of all of the goblins, several of them wielding small bows, just sort of crowding around the hill giant. Hill giant actually its path, it sort of runs into a small poplar and just kind of very casually elbows it aside, and you can sort of smell the damp earth as its roots are partially ripped out of the ground. You can see he has a few sacks held over his shoulder, and among those sacks, a dwarf tied up, bound tightly, a gag in its mouth. And at first blush, and for most of you, this dwarf is not someone you've seen before. Uh, but Alistair, it looks very familiar to you as you realize that the color of the hair, the shape of the beard, the shape of the face, it all is a dead ringer for Logi, except for the fact that this dwarf does not have Logi's signature charred skin. As you're watching these goblins start to walk away from your party, what are you guys doing?
Well, Alistair kind of creeps up to Alcana first, and he kind of points at the dwarf. You know who that is, right?
No, I don't.
Alcana, that's Logi.
What? You're kidding!
He kind of turns to the rest of the group. He looks at Worsen. Listen,
How can you tell?
it just looks like him. I can just tell, but the skin. I don't know if he did something to himself, if they did something to him, but he's not charcoal. But it's definitely him.
Ah,
Worsen,
he vanished off the face of the vanished off the face of the plane, and now he's back somehow. Well, should we get him?
Worsen, I'm going to go
But
try to talk them into letting him know. But just in case it doesn't work, you should play a little charming tune for us, if you know what I mean.
Orson takes out flute takes out a flute from his satchel and winks and says, "Back to the old days, eh? All right. Let's that this will take about a minute to effect, though."
Right. In the meantime, I'll just. Alistair just kind of runs out a little bit further towards the goblins. Hey, wait. Then he switches over to the goblin language. Sorry. Hello. Hi, over here.
You see the one who parlayed with Alcana, this sort of robed hobgoblin, turns around and kind of makes a motion to the others. He looks towards you very appraisingly, sort of these yellow beady eyes narrowing. Oh, it's not very often that I see a human who speaks the language of the goblins. What is it? What do you want?
Yeah. Question. That the dwarf there kind of points towards Loki. Where did you get him?
The one. What concern is it of yours?
Well, the the truth is, I think I might know him.
Well, this one happens to be our concern. It. This dwarf it did something to us. And then you kind of see the other goblins behind him kind of agreeing. Yeah, he did something. One of them says, I think, maybe, probably. And the goblin kind of turns around and gestures to them. He did. He did something to us. He has some sort of trickery about him. Something that is anathema to the high war god. And that, oh no, that is not something we can endure. Being subject to this dwarven trickery. We will take him to be judged, as is our custom.
I listen. What did he do?
He did something. He has tricks about him.
Well, he's a magical dwarf, yes, but are you sure it wasn't just a misunderstanding? He tends to be very bad at explaining things.
He you understand. We have this is a very portentous time for our kind. We have a great many things that must be done in a very short amount of time, and somehow he waylaid us, diverted us into something else. I don't know why I'm explaining this to you. At any rate,
Well,
he's
if you take him with you, it, just because you have him gagged and tied up doesn't mean he can't do something again. Wouldn't the safest thing to be to separate yourself from him?
roll a persuasion check.
Wow.
Wow. I'm just going to go ahead and try rolling wisdom against that. And he kind of looks at you, furrows his brow. He says, I suppose that's true. How do I know you're not in cahoots with this dwarf? You know, it is not very often that a goblin can trust a human. Your kind has not given us much cause to have faith in you.
That's true, though. Personally, I've done nothing to you, and well, quite frankly, you're right. I suppose you have no real evidence that you can trust me, but well, truth be told, this dwarf here, our friend, I haven't seen him in nearly 2 years. I thought he was dead, honestly. Look, I understand that he must have done something to you, but he makes a lot of mistakes, and he might not even have done it. He does not have full control over his magic, and it would be really bad if something happened to his magic while he was with you guys. So I think it's safer for you guys, especially, to just leave him with us.
So what do you want then?
I just want him. That's all.
He kind of, his eyes narrow. He looks back towards the other goblins. And he says, "Fine. We will untie him. But this will be on our terms. And we're going to be ready as soon as there is anything untoward, as soon as there is anything, any mark of treachery on your part towards us. We will be poised to strike. This giant is ours now. And I'm not sure if you've ever tangled with a giant. But when a giant runs up against a human, well, it's not the human that wins."
No, it isn't, which is why it would be very stupid of me to try anything.
He sort of looks towards you. He just makes like a little hand motion towards the goblins. And you see them sort of pulling on the leashes on the hill giant. And you also notice it doesn't seem like the hill giant is really like a beast being held captive. It seems to be pretty cooperative with them. You know, they're tugging it, and clearly it's not strong enough to tug him down by force. But as they tug on the leashes, he just kind of sits down, and they get on, kind of crawl into his back and start undoing these this binding that's holding the dwarf to his shoulder. And then after another minute, they sort of drag the body of, or the form, he's still conscious though, bound and gagged, of who you think is Logi forward. And Hobgoblin kind of steps back. You see him sort of raise his staff. And you see the hill giant kind of get up and just sort of raise the club. Not like they're about to hit you, but like they're ready to act as soon as anything happens. Hobgoblin says to you, "You're very fortunate, human. If we did not have better things to occupy us right now, well, you could have scarcely counted on our cooperation. Untie him." One of the goblins goes up, sort of very quickly works on the handful of very crudely drawn knots around Logi. It doesn't seem like he's been tied up well so much as he's just been tied up several times, and there are so many of these cruddy knots around him that they're eventually all together keep him in place. After a minute, he undoes all of them, and finally just places a little knobby green hand on the gag in Logi's mouth, and with one motion sort of pulls it back and jumps back. And they all just sort of watch expectantly.
So Logi looks around at them and just sort of half massages his hands, and he says, "Right. Thanks for the lift."
"No tricks!" the hobgoblin shouts in common.
What?
I was about to say.
No, he said no tricks, not no tricks.
I knew what he meant, but the way he said it. No, none at all. Come on, Logie, the rest of the group's over here. And he just kind of turns to walk away, I guess.
All right. Logi, do you accompany Alistair?
I'm going to cast... No, I'm not going to cast anything. I follow him.
He's going
All
to
right.
cast Follow Alice.
To be honest, I was really expecting you to pull some bullshit, but
I would
They
have
all-
killed him. I would have
they all
killed
just
him.
watch. They
With
watch.
what weapons?
Yeah, very, very sort of just close-eyed. And Logi, you actually do still have your pack. It was just sort of kind of invisible as you were bound up, but it was just sort of still attached to your back and bound within all of those ropes. They all just very warily watch you as you keep walking. And you see eventually they bring the hill giant back up and they start sort of going on their route again, but a bit more slowly and constantly sort of stopping just to look back in your direction.
So, how the hell did you end up here?
Well, after my trip on Ashdale, I thought I had some more time before I had to return to Haranu, so and I had some errands here, so it seemed appropriate. I I don't understand why you're here.
That is a very long story. Suffice it to say, we ended up going to the Isle of Juniper without you because, well, honestly, it's been over almost a year and a half since we last saw you.
A year? No, it's
Yeah.
only been a couple of months.
Alistair kind of looks towards the rest. Guys,
Yeah, it's been a
Uh,
year.
Well, yeah.
that's strange, but it's far from the strangest thing I've heard of or seen lately.
Huh. But how? I see.
Well, what did you do to upset the goblins into tying you up like that?
I needed their help in finding someone, so I cast a spell on them, but I didn't realize it ran out, and the longer they walked without its effects on them, the more suspicious they grew that something was wrong.
Well, Loki, you kind of have to make them idolize you instead of force them. You know?
you mean like what you did with Deadfoot?
Yes, like I did with Sneelock. Because Logi wasn't here for Deadfoot. You know. It
Deadfoot?
Also, we have a bit of a story for you, so
And what
do you
would I prefer
wanna...
we tell behind closed doors?
Well,
Yes,
we're
right.
in the middle of a forest.
Yes, I have a room in an inn in Ardoin.
No,
No?
no.
Well, I have an idea, but it's kind of a long way.
Can't you just use that hut thing?
I can, but it doesn't come with free drinks.
We do eventually have to get back to the boat.
Yes, we are going to have to go to Ardoin.
The boat is docked in Ardoin.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
where else was I supposed to dock it?
Literally anywhere else. Literally
I heard
anywhere else.
I heard Witchhaven was pretty good.
Atherby would have been a good choice. That was a little far.
Aren't you
Well,
like a-
now that we're all
I suppose
together,
next time I'll have to consult you on where I dock my boat in Kandarin then, because, well, you weren't exactly here to help make that choice, though not of your own will.
Fair.
Aren't you great at disguises anyway?
It's not about that. I just don't want to go back there.
well, we kind of have to get you back in black, eh, Al? You look kind of pale there.
Truth be told, I was thinking I should stick to more colorful colors for a while. At least while we're here.
Logi has never looked this confused in his life.
They think, well, hopefully they think that I was killed in my escape attempt from Fort Altus' Supermax prison. And if they see me, well, that's going to be trouble. But if they see some guy who looks a little bit like me, wearing bright colors, they won't think it's me.
This prison at Fort Arthus? Who
Yeah.
else was there?
A lot of people. there was like a priest, another rogue like me.
Let's see.
Another dwarf.
You didn't hear the name, and sorry, Ron, I don't actually know how to pronounce this. Vold?
Vol. Like the guy who killed his wife's family.
Ah. Yes, I think that should be the one.
I mean, I'm not surprised that he ended up down there. He murdered his wife's parents, 2 siblings, both of their kids. Tried to burn his wife alive when she didn't like his idea. But
Dear Sir Doman.
why are you looking for him?
He knows things. He has had a similar experience to me, and I would like to talk to him. I heard rumors about a prison hidden somewhere in the woods, and I thought it was somehow connected, but only the goblins would show me the way.
Were they heading in the direction of the prison?
They seemed to be kind of going as if they'd go generally that direction, but probably a little bit more northward. Like if they followed a straight line, they wouldn't run into the prison, but you can't be sure where they were going.
Well, if they had kept going down the path they were going, they would have walked a little too far east of it.
Oh.
Well, I don't think they were planning on taking you to the prison anymore. Well, maybe a different prison.
No.
Well,
I don't think they like me very much at this moment.
last time we checked, the prison wasn't that nice to be in, let's say.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so
Well, at least we have you back. That's certainly something. Just wondering where the heck you'd gotten to.
And also,
Yes,
no complaints, but is your skin lighter?
Oh, this is just another disguise.
yeah, see, it's like that time that Arcana came home and she was several inches taller.
Yes, I
Happens.
guess you could say that.
Yes, and to prove a point, rather than dispel the spell, Logi is just going to bring out a knife and make a slight cut in the skin, and I think that should reveal the charcoal skin underneath.
Yes, as he brings a knife to his arm, it's uncanny because there is nothing to indicate that his oddly light, more standard dwarf colored skin is anything other than real skin, but suddenly it sort of tears away. And as it does, it seems like at the incision, it almost looks waxy. And it's very clear that there is the sort of odd charcoal colored skin of Loki that you have come to recognize underneath.
Well, that is some pretty impressive magic there.
Yes, it's quite a trick.
It's kind of like you're just another brick in the wall, or a gnome in the wall.
Uh,
I mean that as a compliment.
I'm not sure I understand that reference, but at the moment, I think maybe we should find some place to rest, and I can tell you more.
And
The wife, why? Uh, Sure, let me just find a nice little patch of. Do you like grass, concrete? What do you like to?
I think grass is probably better to sleep on, or stand on, or lay on.
Yes,
I'm
I
mostly
suppose
at.
we're not really going to get anywhere indoors at this doors today at our rate.
I'm thinking more for the tiny hut of mine.
Yes, that's what I thought you were thinking.
Rond, what time is it?
Right now, it's early evening. It's kind of the sun has gone down a few minutes ago, and it's starting to get dark.
Well, hope you like stories, for because we've got quite a bit to go through with you, Logue. Mind if I call you Logue or Geek?
You've never done that before.
I haven't done a lot of things before. Now come, sit down, and everyone huddle up in a circle.
Yes, and well, hopefully, well, we shouldn't be able to be tracked during the night. Been magically masking our tracks as we went.
Yeah, though, as you say this, Alistair, you notice out of the corner of your eye a small green face just sort of peeking at you guys from out of a tree.
A small green face.
Yeah, it's a goblin.
Did you not leave with the rest of them? He just kind of looks up.
You say that in common or goblin?
Goblin.
Oh, oh, just keeping a watch, just making sure.
Keeping watch, making sure of what? That we don't decide 20 hours later to follow your guys and kill them?
Well,
Yeah, it's not the leader, it's another one. He said,
oh, well, that one, he works with, he works with one of the bad ones, and well, I'm just keeping watch, just making sure.
Fine.
Is that goblin gonna be there all night?
I don't really know, but he won't be able to see us once Orson does his little thing, so.
I mean, it's gonna get cold.
Well, there is space for him in the hut if we want.
I don't think that's what he meant by that.
I don't know.
Look, if he wants to keep watch, let him keep watch. Just ignore him.
Well, he's not gonna really keep watch if we're inside the hut.
And at that point, he'll probably leave, so.
Do we really need the hut? I mean, it's
Yes,
spring night. Get a nice campfire.
and
Oh,
and
yeah.
have someone keep watch. 9, my friend.
Don't you sometimes feel like you want to do some old-fashioned camping?
No.
Look, Trix. You want to stay outside the hut? You're more than welcome to. But you're even more welcome staying inside it.
I have no objections.
so do you guys make the tiny hut?
Yes.
All right. Worsen, you conjure your tiny hut, sort of make make a bit of a comfortable campsite within, and everyone who wishes to gathers inside. Do you guys do anything else this evening before you rest?
We make sure everyone's caught up on everything that's happened.
Yes.
Tell Yogi about the Arab Juniper and such.
And whatever
Mhm.
Loki decides to tell us, I suppose.
Yes.
Mhm.
Would you say Logi had the space to bring all his items, or would that be too much?
I feel like he's not a walking armory the way that some folks have been. I think he'd probably have most of his things. Well, except for the things that, were left behind in the Iron Terrace.
Yeah, of course. So, Logi tells you of the time he fell into shadows and came to another place, but he's very vague about what happened there. But to you, Arcana, he rummages through his rucksack or whatever it is he has, and brings up a. Hang on, let me see what it actually is.
Oh, and I mentioned before all this, Dominic's up.
Yeah,
Oh,
brings
hey.
out an ancient-looking breastplate with a star of Saradomin.
Ah, isn't that interesting?
Yes,
Do I notice anything interesting about this?
You look it over, and it seems to be very well made. The materials themselves don't seem remarkable. It seems to be just a steel breastplate with this sort of silvered star of Saradomin right in the center. But looking it over and how sort of immaculate it is, you'd expect anything to still have at least a little bit of wear. Looking at how immaculate it is, you get the sense that this might be somehow enchanted.
Yes,
Where did you find this? It looks like it might have some kind of enchantment on it.
Well, under Ashdale, I went into Shadow and came to another place. I'm still not sure where it was, but in that place, I encountered an old man. Seemed he had been watching over the ocean, whatever that means, for a long time. And this man, he had a pair of wings.
Wings.
Wings?
Yes, I think he might have been an Icene, but he didn't seem to remember himself very much.
Hmm.
How tall was he?
Tall?
Yeah.
Isn't everyone tall for
How many
you?
inches? Yeah, but I'm just thinking, Icene or fairy?
Were you talking to Don or Logie when you said that?
Probably Don, right? Because I asked.
Hopefully not.
I also have this, and he pulls another thing out of his rucksack, which is more like looks more like a sliver of stone, and he says, "This used to be a feather. It's all I have. It's all that's left of it." And
Used to be a feather.
Hmm.
I think Elkanah would try and look it over.
Man, and I thought the cage was weird.
Yeah, you grab it, and it actually has the appearance of Ashdale marble, but it looks somehow almost like it has a different luster to it, as if it's kind of glossier somehow. If Ashdale marble had a texture to it uh, closer to keratin, if that makes sense, though it's still definitely stone.
That's really strange. It looks like it should be Ashdale marble, but the texture's all off.
Yes.
Was this icing made of stone?
Not that I could tell. He seemed to have become something else in the time he had spent in that place.
Become something else.
Hmm. Well, well, not to brag, but I mean, we also found an icing, but it was much more dead.
Yes, and Alcana just kind of glances down at Truth nearby her side.
Yes, this Icene I met was dying as well. He'd passed by the time I left.
It's probably for the best. We don't need any of these celestial beings on coming down and disturbing the balance.
Yeah, you hear from outside. There's sort of this odd thump, and then you hear kind of a cursing. Ah, damn it! What's it out? And then you just hear sort of something clang against something else, and then have you got your dome opaque, or can you still see out of it?
Uh, let's go. Let's go with we can see out of it.
Yeah, you look and you can see that that little goblin seems to have sort of toppled out of the tree, and he's sort of takes this very cruddy looking scimitar at his side and just sort of digs it into the bark and starts using it to help him climb back up.
Should I go tell that guy to buzz off?
No, it's fine.
I mean, he might starve or something.
Hmm.
We can like befriend him and have him go away. You know, for his.
I don't think the goblin will be a problem for now.
Me neither.
I mean, it looks like he might be a problem to himself if he keeps falling out of the tree like that.
Eventually, he'll realize that he shouldn't climb back up the tree.
Will he though?
He will, or he'll die trying.
I mean, I guess he doesn't need to be up the
Well,
tree.
from what I heard, goblins aren't that smart.
You'd be surprised.
I would be.
Now, the Isle of Juniper. What was there?
And I kind of glances at Alistair and just kind of telepathically says, "Well, after my report, I'm not exactly allowed to talk publicly about it, so
There were dinosaurs. Rawr.
Yeah.
What Don means is the local wildlife there was very unique, and think Guthix Notrix was there, and we'd all be dead. Definitely.
agreed."
Yes, they may be ferocious, but they were quite susceptible to calming magics.
And the mark on the map?
I assume you mean something to do with the knot. Yeah, they were there. Oh, they were definitely there.
Yep, and Alcana just kind of gives this very slow, somber nod.
We had quite an adventure under that island. Alistair just kind of looks at Alcana like he's not sure how much to say, really.
Well, this might be a bit of a story for you.
Hmm.
I'll
I
just
don't think.
be here and accompany with some gloomy music to set the mood.
I. I suppose. And this is telepathically to Alistair. I suppose we could be a little bit vague about it for now, but. Yeah.
So, what we believed about the knot was not entirely true. We believed that they were, well, just an evil disease, poison, you name it. And that was reinforced by Yunlo, the Khan tree thing of the Isle. He's a tree that exists between this world and the spirit world, I think. Notrix was able to talk to him. And we went down into the caves and found that wasn't entirely the truth. That some of the knot are indeed a problem to the world, but not all of them.
How? How are they not a problem?
Because they were never meant to leave the caverns, ever.
Meant. So why were they there?
The way that I understood it is somebody was trying to play God, and that's how the knot came about. And they decided that they would just, stay where they were with the knot, and someone else who was involved with the apparent creation of them decided, but what if we wanted to rule the world? And the rest of them were like, nah, we're good. Then that one was like, I'm gonna do it anyway. And that's why some of them attack people and come up to the surface.
It is worth
Something
mentioning.
like that.
It's worth mentioning that. Well, the source on this might not be the most trustworthy, so take it with a grain of salt, I believe.
I mean, never mind.
You don't think Omethysys is trustworthy?
I mean,
Huh.
And
do you say that you trust him 100%?
I mean, he
Dawn,
had
she
ample opportunity to kill us.
and she said that to him telepathically, by the way. Dawn,
What?
I thought that it was implied from context we were trying to, you know, keep a little bit mum about things.
Well, I'm
Yes,
sorry, but besides, you're real good at talking without moving your lips.
Wilson looks around at the rest, uncomfortable, and says,
Kind of just face palms.
"Why are we even keeping it a secret from him? I don't see a reason to."
Well, she would have said this in Don's head. That's the thing.
Yeah, but I'm thinking,
Oh yeah, because
context
Don
clues.
was talking out loud. Okay, I'm sorry. Go continue.
Uh, seriously, we're all about secrets here, secrets that. You don't trust us?
Wilson's right, Elkanah. I kept secrets, and look where that landed us.
Well, you'll have to say it, not me. I basically legally can't now.
What does that even mean legally? You
Logie,
can.
Logie,
We're in closed quarters.
would you guys please?
All
Logie, listen.
right, all right.
We met a being named Omethysys, who claims to be a member of a pentarchy, a group of ancient alien deities who created the knot in an attempt to understand mortal life. And, well, one of them, Yed Varath, decided to use the knot for something more. and those are the ones that attack people and come out of the caverns.
So this was a creature that claimed to be a god.
Something like that. I don't think it ever actually used the word or referred to it so directly.
I see.
I believe it said that it used to be a god, or at least implied, or something along those lines.
Right. That was it.
That's
Mhm.
that reminds me of something I've heard before, but
Hmm?
I think it might be wise to tell you that later. And especially, he sort of eyes Alistair first and then looks at Alcana briefly. And he says, this thing, did it have crystals?
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, there's crystals all over the place, including on it.
That makes a lot of sense.
Orange, by the way, in case that matters.
Maybe. I have no idea. But I have heard of the crystals before.
Funny story about that. I actually had to bring a bunch of them back with us. Then I had to give it up for 10,000 chimes. And then we lost half of those. My bad.
10,000 chimes. Who paid for those?
The League of Excellence.
Oh. Now that does make a lot of sense too.
Yes,
Hmm?
I heard about your little trip to the leadership conference, was it? Dr. Lysmith.
Oh, I dispensed with that alter ego after a while. I visited the Infris retreat with one Kiaroku. I've told Arcana about most of it, though not all.
Yes, I think I vaguely remember that, although let's just say there's been a lot to sort through as of late.
Arcana,
Yes?
I have to ask you something. And he looks very uncertain at this. How much do you value your faith?
A lot.
Yeah, I thought as much. And he just sort of looks around at everyone, and he just says, I think we should get some rest now. We'll talk more in the morning.
Hmm.
So, as you guys look around with this odd, oddly probing question, is an uneasy way to end this night. This first time in over a year that all of you have reunited.
Um,
You all. Oh, go ahead.
I imagine that Alistair probably is just up a little bit past the rest of them, since the dome is see-through. He
That's actually.
kind
I
of
think.
looks up, just admiring the stars, since he hasn't seen them in about half a year.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
And you are, on kind of an open patch of grass. There is a break in the trees above you, and you can see the stars. It's a very clear night.
And I think Logi is actually going to very quietly try to approach, not like stealthily. He makes him aware that he's there, but not trying to wake the others to approach Alice.
Right, yeah. Alistair, you see Logie just silently approach you.
Just sort of standing next to him, looking at the stars, not looking directly at him. He asks, "Is there something special about Alcana?"
In what way?
I mean, in her nature.
So, you can sense it, or see it, or something, can't you?
I couldn't sense it, but I have picked up on some clues, that small traces of information while I've been away that made me wonder.
Well, the truth is that, yes, she is different from the rest of us in ways that, quite frankly, I don't think I could explain if I wanted to. Let's just say that the ectofunctus is more connected to her family than she realizes, or well, than she realized, rather.
Ectophantus. I was there once. I think it's a source of great necromantic power.
Yes. Souls are attracted to it. Spirits aren't allowed there. They're not allowed anywhere near the tower. She, her ancestor, was involved with the creation of the ectofunctus, and it didn't quite go so well for him.
I suppose that changed her. Or him, and it went down to her. And Logie turns to look at Alistair and says, "I'm going to tell you something, but I am not sure whether it would be right to tell Alcana."
Okay.
When I visited the Infamous retreat, I talked to Kiaroku, and he informed me about how magic came to the east. I've told you some of it before about how they brought something over, but I didn't tell the entire truth. Because what Kiaroku said, what he believed, and from what I've later learned, it seems to have some truth in it, is that the gods of the West died, and that the crystals are what remain of them, and they were taken east by some of their followers, or, well, maybe not their followers, but by someone, and that is how magic came to be there.
He kind of looks back down towards Loki. That actually makes a lot of sense in ways. We didn't mention it, but on the Isle of Juniper there were ancient orbs that were used by a general, Stosana, an Icene general in Ceradom's army. They were there looking for something.
Did the words Gnosis Vault appear?
Yes,
Yes, I heard about that from the old man.
we found Stosana's corpse. Well, what remained of it anyway. She was there for a while. Drove herself insane. Turns out that she met Omethicist too, but didn't go quite as well for her as it did for us.
Hmm. I think you know Arcana better than me, but well, so I think you should be the one to decide whether you should tell her that, well, there's a possibility her god might be dead.
What about your god?
I'm not as sure about that one.
Well, suppose the world, if it's not him, then the world is keeping itself in balance, or is there no balance left?
I don't know about that one.
Does the legend that this hero told you happen to mention how the gods died?
No, he did not mention anything about how they might have died.
The only thing I can think of that can kill a god be a god.
Maybe. There's... Yes, it wouldn't surprise me if someone did it. And, well, now all that's left of them are the memories in those crystals.
That would explain why the League of Excellence wanted the crystals. At least partially. But what I don't understand is why the Isle of Juniper was so ripe with them. Especially the caverns where the Nod were.
I'm not sure either.
Is there something you're not telling us, Loki?
There is, but I think for the time being it might be better if you didn't know.
Piece of advice. Not for our sake, but for yours. Find a way to tell us. Because me being here is a result of me keeping secrets. It's a result of me not telling the rest of the group things about myself that were important. And just when I was feeling ready to tell them, the past caught up to me and nearly killed some of us, nearly threw me in prison for the rest of my life. The past comes back to haunt you before we know what it is. We won't be ready.
I'll tell you one thing. I think you might have to be prepared to let go.
Let go.
And sort of ghosting him, Logie just turns around and goes back to where he was sleeping.
Yeah, he very quickly at least pretends to fall asleep. Do you do anything else, Alistair?
I don't know. Is anybody else going to talk to Alistair?
I'm thinking that like there's another person who's not quite completely not quite completely asleep just yet. Yeah.
Don is.
And that somebody just kind of slowly inches over to Alistair.
I assume he notices, but you know.
And just sort of like looks around a little bit before then sort of looking, and then into his mind would be saying, "Hey, finally back, huh?"
It was such a brief time where I could feel this you in my head, but somehow I've missed it.
Really now?
It's been a very interesting 5 months for me. I've had a lot of time to myself to think.
Well, I can only imagine you were in prison.
Yes, I spent most of my time in my cell, and any time that wasn't spent in my cell was spent being beaten with whips, fists, elbows, blades, hammers.
I'm so sorry.
Why? I should be the one who's sorry. You were. That isle was hell for you, and I was just icing on the cake.
Well, I mean, I also got fired once they got back because apparently Arso got some idiotic ideas and everyone blamed me for it, and so I got dismissed for good PR. That was the icing on the despair cake.
Well, sorry I wasn't there for you through that, but I imagine that was almost a weight off your shoulders in a way, wasn't it?
Yeah, I can't really lead a place if I barely have my own self together. You know, I remembered something you said then as I was walking down the steps of the Hiranu Man.
Oh,
That you always believed that I'd be a good leader from the moment that you laid eyes on me. Something like that.
it was true. I knew, well, I felt a lot of things when I first laid eyes on you, but that was the only one that I understood.
The only one you understood.
Like I said, I've had a lot of time the past 5 months to think and sort through my feelings. And, well, I remember when Blackstone dragged me off, you said something to me.
Yes.
And I realized that it was true for me, too.
Really now.
Yeah. I think it's been like that for a long time. I just never saw it.
Yeah. Well, even if you weren't there for me, well, Kuro did pick up some of the slack.
He did he? I'm surprised he wasn't too busy himself.
Oh, it sounded like he was, but he made time.
That's good. I hope things are going well for him on Haranu.
I do too, but it sounds like there's a storm brewing over there.
And we're not there to see it, so it's not our problem.
I couldn't even do anything about it if I wanted to. I mean, I did get fired.
That's their loss.
I've definitely had a lot to think about myself.
And what have you learned? What have you?
Hmm. Well, I went to places that were familiar to ground myself. Went to Phasmatis, went to Ashdale, went to the monastery. And, well, between everything, there's been two distinct yet contradictory feelings about everything. The first one makes sense to me, the second one doesn't.
What are they?
Well, the first one seems to be the most obvious reaction one would have to all of this. Just what are you even doing with all of this? You're 26 years old. You're a girl from a small fishing family on a small island province, delving into things that the literal Iceni fear to tread. Just what are you doing? You're not a mage, you're not a scholar, for goodness sake. What are you doing? What did you get yourself into?
Oh, come on. It amazes me how you continue to underestimate yourself.
Hmm?
You still don't. You really haven't realized it, have you? We went down there on the Isle of Juniper into the Singing Caverns. The six of us. Seven. And we walked through, trekked through hundreds, maybe thousands of knots. And we all made it out in peace. We got to Omethesis. We talked to him. Survived that. You walked away with something new. General Stosana led in a literal army down there and couldn't get it done. You got it done with 6 people.
Well, when you put it like that.
It means you succeeded where she failed. It means you're better than her.
It's not exactly the kind of thing you want to say in public, though, unless you get accused of blasphemy.
Are you really worried about being accused of blasphemy anymore?
You have a point. And I suppose then that should. Then there's the other feeling. Know how I said that I felt an odd sense of peace when everything was said and done in the Singing Caverns? That feeling never quite left. For a while, it confused me. Because everything was chaos. Why was I feeling anything related to some sort of peace and calm? Logically, I shouldn't be feeling that way.
Well, in these 5 months of understanding feelings, I think I've come to understand something about them. It's that no matter what we think, what we feel will always tell us the truth. If you feel at peace, it's because you're satisfied with the results of what we did on Juniper. You're satisfied that you know the truth.
Yeah, that's something. That's something like it, I suppose, just. And then I suppose it's just. Well, in a weird way, with how all of the stars seem to align, maybe. Maybe. As strange as it is, maybe this is where I was meant to be all along.
I can't speak for what destiny or fate decides, but I do know that if anybody can do whatever the hell it is that you have to do, it's you.
Hmm. Well, you've always believed in me when I can't believe in myself, and well. Hmm.
I think that's what love is.
You know, I always generally tended to avoid this sort of thing, not because the order prohibited it or anything, but because it was always seemed to be more trouble than it was worth. Everyone had certain expectations. I didn't really have interest in meeting some of those expectations, and well, let's just say that there were some people who had some rather had some considerable level of indiscretion that didn't exactly help things. Remember how I reacted when we well got hit up by that, well, siren of the night back in Freebooter Way?
You mean the one who tried to seduce Worsen as both a female and a male? How could I forget?
Yeah. Let's just say that wasn't just some show of piety.
Personal experience?
Yes. Though I suppose that would be more the straw on the camel's back than it was anything else. I mean, it's not like I've never felt like this before, but it's just people expect certain things when you're together with somebody. And I just never wanted to go that way. And yeah, that lecherous creepy apparently wanted basically every woman in town, and I only learned that after he hit me, after he, well, made his advances on me. Then Devin told me the scoop.
You know, I always heard a lot about Ashdale from my teacher. He was retired there before he was dragged back to teach me. But Dirk had never mentioned some.
Wait, hold on a minute, Dirk?
Yes, that was his name.
That was the name of the lecherous creep.
What?
That's what I'm saying.
But he always told me that women were a waste of time.
I suppose it would be rather convenient for you to not have any emotional bonds when you're supposed to be an assassin, since he didn't have to do that anymore. Well, he could go to town with all of the repressed feelings. Well, fortunately, people picked up on his ways soon enough. Not sure where he is now, haven't seen him since the attack, and good riddance.
Don't think for a second that they killed him, because they damn sure didn't.
Well, if he's not there, then that's good enough for me. Sorry about that, I didn't mean for things to get serious.
I don't think either of us meant for a lot of things to happen that have. You know, when I first heard from Joni that we would be taking a Ceradominist paladin with us back to Haranu, I rolled my eyes and, oh great, another one. And here I am 2 years later. I would have been anything to not have to deal with another Ceradominist besides Joaquin. And now, I think I'd give anything for that same paladin.
And she gets a slight bit of red on her cheeks. But, yeah, well, with you, I don't really have to explain any of that. You understand. You don't necessarily have the same expectations everyone else does, because, well, Lord knows we've been through a whole lot. With you, I don't really care about that kind of stuff anymore.
He kind of finally just turns to her. He's blushing a little bit too, yeah. I never had any expectations like that. I never thought I would ever have any expectations for anything like that. But if I was going to fall in love with somebody, I'm glad it was you.
And she would probably scooch closer and give him a hug.
Oh, how cute.
Yeah. scoot closer, sort of look through this transparent dome up at the stars. You actually see, you both see at the same time this shooting star just create a streak across the sky and then fade away.
Wow.
Beautiful, isn't it?
I think it's a sign.
Oh, were you talking about the shooting star? I was talking about you.
Oh. And she just goes red as a cherry.
I might have picked that one up from someone.
Aww.
As you both sit here together, looking at the night, sort of reflecting on your confessions to each other, eventually, it sort of the weariness strikes you again, especially you, Alistair, from this harrowing 4 months in prison and the month of enduring the terror of not knowing where you were going before that as you were transported. And sort of there's this very peaceful, content exhaustion that comes over you both. And eventually find your way to sleep.
Right next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
With
I was
Dot
just
and your
gonna
cloak
say-
skill.
Oh shoot! Yeah.
And I was gonna say
Oh,
worse.
man, has
Tom
Don,
is
like secretly been listening to everything everyone has
Yo, can I
said?
roll
Yes.
Constitution to like see if like Dot was able to wake up during that conversation?
Sure.
I mean, we were talking in our head the whole time, weren't we?
Yeah.
I could roll for
True.
the Logi convo if you want to.
That'd be true.
You know, I'm gonna roll Constitution to see if Dawn wakes up before you guys.
I mean, I have 18 passive perception.
Fuck.
I don't know if that works.
Just want to see why are they sleeping in the same bed? Thinking emoji, but they can't because he rolled a 5.
Well, it was this. Never mind.
To be fair, we went to sleep after everybody else, so shouldn't everybody else wake up a few minutes before us?
Not if I roll a 5,
Essentially,
unless God
Yeah. Don's
is
sleeping in.
merciful. Fuck.
Don's a sleepy boy.
Yeah. It's okay
But anyway.
though. Yeah, go on.
Anyways, eventually you all wake up in this dome as it's in the last few minutes, and you know it'll dissipate soon. You can hear this sort of honk to this, and you look up, you can see that same goblin sort of seemed to have taken some leaves and just completely stuffed his clothes with them, and is just sort of draped over one of the branches, snoring. It is dawn, very early in the day. Alistair, with your knowledge of Kandarin and your training as a ranger, you know that it'll take at least a day and a half, maybe close to 2 days to make it to Ardoin from here.
And just to be clear, Logi did give Alcarna that breastplate, not just show it. So she
Oh,
can
yes, very
choose
good.
that
So,
if she wants to, or well,
yeah.
however.
So, Alcana, you are now in possession of a +1 breastplate, which is not better than your current armor, but it's, it's a thing you have.
It belongs in a museum. Maybe.
meanwhile,
Okay, Ezreal.
the armor wasn't made is sitting there like, am I joking?
I mean, you literally got it out of the trash. What do you think?
I
I don't think
cleaned it.
Shakara can even use it.
Yes, you can. I cleaned it.
No, I mean, she doesn't have the strength stat to use it.
Okay, but can you at least carry it so?
It's a tiny version of it that was
Can't
made
remember.
with a bag of molding.
Dawn pulled it out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Don could wear it if he wanted to. He wouldn't be able to cast any spells, but, he could.
Ooh. Pick up some fairy ladies. He would. But no, not yet.
Sure, he's
Later.
already
So-
dressed well enough for that.
Scorns. You're right! It's got
Yeah,
tuxedo
best dressed
on
in the
there.
crew. Or, well, maybe not anymore since he's been spending so long crawling around these tiny, filthy vents.
Speaking, I wanted to go to Worsened. I don't know if we're doing something right now, but I wanted
Oh
to
yeah,
go to
you guys have just
Worsened
woken up.
and say, hey, you know that spell you got? Press a digit. What's it? Worsen? Hey! I smack him. Wake him up. Oh no.
Yeah, he's
It's
daydreaming.
Oh, he's real sleepy, man.
Yes, well, he did a lot of work in that escape attempt earlier. I mean, he managed to get right into the center of the whole compound.
Yeah.
He's a busy boy.
He's covered in dust and grime and rust.
Yeah.
He
So
has to do something before Nessie does it. Sorry.
yeah. So what are you guys all doing this day?
I think Notrix will walk over to the goblin and try and shout out at him. Hello?
Oh, oh, oh. Uh, what want?
Are you still watching us?
Uh, I watch. I not trust.
Oh, why not? We're very trustworthy people.
Uh, dwarf. Dwarf work with bad.
Oh,
Hello?
hi.
oh.
Hi, you're here now.
Sorry. Okay, so what did I miss?
He's talking to the goblin.
Yes.
In Goblin?
No, in common.
We're all like back at the tiny hut and he's outside.
Okay, so basically, can we like is the Goblin talking to all of us or just Alistair with Goblin?
Right now, he's just talking to Notrix. Notrix has just gone out to confront him. He sort of slept in the tree, and now he's sort of been roused.
Okay, so listen to my plan, Ron.
Oh boy.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have Worsen play a 1 minute ish song which sounds kind of like background noise. And I dearly hope this goblin is listening to this one full duration of this set.
So you're doing this. We can say that you kind of started doing this as soon as you saw Notrix eyeing the goblin from inside the tiny hut. And the goblin doesn't really have any reason to be suspicious of it. So, as Notrix is talking to him, your song kind of comes to its full 1 minute duration. And what happens at the end of that?
Well, at the end of that, he has to make a wisdom save to not be charmed by me and idolize me. But I can't display the card now because apparently my everything is stuck.
Oh, okay. But let's see. Your spell save DC is 14. So let me go ahead and make a wisdom save for this goblin. They're
And
not the
remember-
wisest guys.
And remember, even if he fails, he doesn't realize he's been charmed.
Ah, very good.
Whoa!
Damn, that's a
Okay.
20.
What?
Ooh.
Holy shit! He knows your games.
Yeah. So Notrix, as he's looking at you, he says,
Yeah. Dwarf work with bad. Music okay though.
Eh, this is one of his good tunes. So,
Worsen screams, "Hey! All my all my tunes are good. What are you talking about?"
yeah.
Alcana's probably looks like she's taken a lot of personal time to make sure she's all nice and well groomed, almost like somebody say something to her about that once.
You need a rest.
God damn it, Marcy.
So I was wondering, Mr. Goblin or whatever. Oh, sorry, I should ask your name. Hello, what's your name?
You ask my name?
Yes, I just don't want to call you something stupid like Mr. Goblin.
Hey, call me Green Teeth.
Ah, green teeth.
I like that name.
Can I look at his teeth and are they actually green?
Yeah, they're not the greatest looking teeth.
Yes, I see. Your teeth are interesting color. But well, I don't know a lot about goblins. I was just wondering, where were you guys going with our dwarf friend?
Hmm. We go. We go this place. We go other place. Why you know?
I'm curious.
Roll a persuasion check on this goblin.
Okay.
He kind of scrunches up his face a little. He says,
Really want know? We go to Mud Plain. Other goblin there.
Ah, yeah. Yes, I've actually think I've read about that. That that's just north of Ardoin, isn't it?
Hmm. Hmm. Things in Ardoin. Not go close, Ardoin.
Oh, is there something bad about Ardoin? I think we were planning to go there soon.
Yes, there's a lot bad about Ardoin.
I'm not asking you.
Bad people, Ardoin. People. Dwarf works in Ardoin. And bad omen in Ardoin.
Hmm. Dwarf works. Huh.
A dwarf. You're dwarf.
Ah, yes. Did you meet him near Ardoin then?
Hmm. Not too close. But works with bad Ardoin human.
Huh. Does this bad Ardoin human have a name?
Calls him Vold.
and then he spits. And it's like he's spitting over his shoulder at the ground, but high up in the tree. It's goes quite a farther way.
Ah, yes. Yes. That, from what I've heard, that is quite a bad human. He. Well, I don't know where he is though.
Tricksy ways. Against High War God.
Hmm. So the High War God doesn't like people using magic?
Oh, magic okay. Magic for Trixies. Bad.
Oh. Well, don't worry, I've got no tricks on me.
Really.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being so helpful. Actually, you're surprisingly nice to talk to. I've never met a goblin before.
You don't do bad yet. But I watch. Bad things in Ardoin. Smoke out of ground. Dragon in sky. War comes.
Wait,
We are of war.
I assume the rest of us can hear this.
Yeah.
Alistair kind of shouts up. in Goblin. What do you mean, dragon, smoke, war? What?
I mean what I said. When smoke rises from the ground, when a dragon is spotted once more in the skies over the human lands, that's when great change will come. It's when our chosen commander will come back to us. We know the time is running out for you humans.
I see. And you were going to this plain of mud, was it?
Well, we had a few other stops first, but yeah, eventually. So we were taking the dwarf to be judged.
I must admit that though I speak your language, I am largely unfamiliar with your culture. The goblin who taught me was not very forthcoming with anything except what I had paid him to do, which was to teach me the language.
I can tell.
So, taking him to be judged, what does that mean exactly? Do you take him before the big high war god?
No. Big High War God isn't here. But we goblins, we don't see the gods the way that humans do. The time of the gods was long ago. In humans, you forget your gods when they're no longer useful. They don't care about their mysteries. Now, we goblins, we make sure that the gods still live in us. And where many of us gather, that's where our god is.
Huh. So, just one more question. How much longer are you planning to watch this? Because we're going to be leaving soon, and, well, you're going to have to try to keep up.
Uh, well, don't worry about me. I'll I'll watch till I'm good and ready to stop watching.
Alice just shrugs, turns towards the rest, and says, well, I guess he's sticking with us for now.
Well, is that what he said, I guess? Because I didn't understand that part of the conversation.
Yeah, he said that he's going to watch until he feels like not watching anymore.
He should know.
So,
I don't have-
translation indefinitely.
Or until we, and he switches over to Shanko, just to see if the goblin will understand him. Until we, well, if something were to happen and we were to be moving faster than he can,
Yeah, the goblin shows no sign of recognition.
Well,
oh, does Logi speak Ushanko?
No, right?
He does. Yeah,
Okay.
that was part of his officer training.
so,
I didn't want to be leaving him out of it.
Oh yeah, I should probably add that to my sheet because I haven't.
What do you
Oh,
propose?
yeah, me neither.
I have to rework my character sheet.
Yeah, me too. Oh, I'm not proposing anything. I'm just saying that, well, he says not to slow down on his account, so I suggest we take that advice.
I see where you're going with this.
Alright, but what's the next stop?
Well, it'll take more than a day to get to Ardoin from here, as much as I'd prefer going literally anywhere else.
yes.
I mean, I can move the boats once we get there.
I mean, that'd be nice since we're going to be leaving Kandarin, right?
Well, I kind of was hoping on meeting the elves, but I'm not really sure if we'd be able to.
I mean, don't you want to enjoy being dead a while?
Yeah, I can do that. Like, I don't know, Azaria maybe.
Well, the only real thing I wanted to do was to do a brief survey of the shoreline towns in Kandarin as kind of a reconnaissance, but obviously that's pretty far away from our join. That's all I really wanted to do here.
Would I know of like Tyrannoman and such, or any elf culture in Ardor?
Wait, would you know of what?
Tyrannoman, elf culture,
Oh,
that whole.
um, I mean, you from Alatira, you am I pronouncing that right?
Would I need more of a history check, or is it just, oh yeah, you know the basics?
I mean, I'd say you know of the basics. What's the pronunciation of your friend's name? Is it Alitira or Alitira or
I just call her Aureen.
all right,
Alitra
Aureen?
Aureen.
Yeah. So from her, you'd know all the basics of Ardoin history, like all the stuff that's on the wiki. I'd say that you'd know.
Okay, guys, so with the power of the wiki and an old friend of mine, I know a bit of Elven Ardoin things we can possibly look into if you guys want.
Yeah, we could go to that one place that specializes in it. You know, a place I've been to because I lived there for 15 years.
Didn't the elves leave Kandarin thousands of years ago? Or
Yes, but
hundreds?
there's still pieces of history. There's a museum in Ardoin that specializes specifically in ancient elven artifacts and architecture that's been dug up since then.
Hmm.
Look, I'm not saying we should go there, but it's an option if you want.
Well, I for one know I will not be going there.
Well, if not, I could probably show you guys my new establishment before we, make a good decision.
New establishment, yes. It is
What is
quite
that?
something.
Oh, it's right in the heart of Varrock. Was it Varrock, wrong?
I think you said that it was to the east of Varrock.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
I
It's
I think it might be a bit far to head off to
Yeah.
now. There is something there is an occult hotspot outside Ordoin that I'd like to investigate.
Where?
well.
And Logi pulls up his map from Hammerspace, and he points on where it is on the map, which I would say where it
Oh.
is if I remembered exactly where it was, but I don't.
Yes, let's look at the map.
So, does Alistair know anything about this place or this part of the map? I guess.
Isn't that backstory in this castle?
Alistair, I'd say, wouldn't really know. I mean, here's the thing. You lived in Ardoin, you grew up there, you know a lot about Ardoins. I'd say you'd have to be a little bit more specific. I'd say that there's nothing that immediately pops up to Alistair as, oh, you mean the spooky old occult castle? Of course.
Yeah, well, I just mean like, does he know what's there, basically?
What's there, it looks like, is West Ardoin.
Oh, so that other sort of building on the map is just to signify that it's West Ordoin. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit. That part is slightly out of scale, but if you see the river parts, on the east side of the river is East Ardoin. On the west side of the river is West Ardoin, and in that little segment in the middle is the River Ward.
We'd be kind of going the lion's mouth in that case.
West Stardoin is a little off limits, last I heard.
Not to most people,
Yeah,
apparently.
I'd rather not get us in any trouble like that if we can avoid it. I mean, you can certainly go, be our guest, but please don't vanish off of the face of Gielinor for almost a year again, if you can avoid it.
Well, we do know one person who is allowed in and out.
Who's that?
Well, it's a. I remember. Didn't you say Joachim's father was allowed in and out as a healer?
Oh yeah, we have to.
About that. See, the fact that he's allowed in there as a healer means something not right's going on there.
You know, it would be nice to see Joachim again.
Well, we could set sail to Lumbridge and go see him again.
Is
We
he in
could.
Lumbridge?
Last I heard.
I mean, it's kind of far away now. That would do that.
Well, how about we don't plan long term? Because right now we're in the middle of the woods in Western Kandrian, and our boat is in Ardoin, and well, we're going to be heading that way. We can decide what we're doing when we get there.
Fair enough.
All right. So do you guys embark then on your journey towards Ardoin?
Yes.
Reluctantly.
All right.
Sadly,
Now, I want to ask, what sort of approach are you guys making? Are you kind of heading more in the direction of West Ardoin and going to wend your way across? Are you going to try to intersect the Dendorian route and come down the road into Ardoin proper? Are you going to try to follow the river? What is your MO here?
Which would be well, I guess if Alistair would know, which would be the fastest?
I suppose as the crow flies, you're technically closer to West Ardoin. But you also know that it kind of most people come into Ardoin either through the Guild Road or the Dendorian route, and that's sort of just where the main artery is, where it seems like it's more conditioned to take travelers. Yeah, go ahead.
I think we should go down the Dendorian route, so we cross the river and we go east and go on the road and go south. Because if we're on a natural road, we don't look like a bunch of outlaws just coming in from the countryside.
That's true.
Yeah, I guess it depends on
right.
how east of the river is to cross.
Yeah, that's there are definitely spots all throughout the river where there are small bridges or where there are small ferries. It's still a very heavily trafficked part of the kingdom. You guys travel. When you eventually come to the edge of the forest, finally the goblin stays back and just sort of watches you from the edge of the tree line. Eventually you need to camp sort of somewhere on the in the fields, in the grasslands, not too far away from the Doin River. You come to a crossing, eventually come onto the Dendorian route, which is a large, regal road. The sort of roads that kind of you don't see too much in the east, fully paved. There are milestones every mile. There are these well-appointed carts making their way up and down on occasion. Though this far from the city, it doesn't see a ton of traffic. You see some carrying produce, a few with the marks of various guilds. A number of them seem to be driven by gnomes, as this is kind of the main route between the gnomish lands and the human lands. But as you start to come down this road on the second day, the first thing that you see that tells you that you're getting closer to the city is a plume of smoke. A large plume of smoke right in the direction where, Alistair, you know the city should be.
Oh fuck! It's the dragon, isn't it?
Oh no!
Ah,
Oh no!
Nani?
So I guess this is the time that Alistair would be like, so you know how I was talking to that goblin in Goblin?
Yes,
Yeah.
what about it?
He
has a name.
mentioned that. Right. He had a mention that when there's smoke coming from the human lands from Ardoin, that is the time when war will come, and they will be war. And that's smoke coming from Ardoin.
And as you're saying
That's
this,
a problem.
as you're saying this, the smoke seems to stop. The plume that seems to have reached down to the ground like a dark finger no longer contacts the ground. And after another half hour or so, it seems to have dissipated away.
Well, that let's just get to the boat.
Yes, I
Ominous.
agree. Let's just get to the boat.
Can we take a minute to sort out Alice's disguise?
Oh, yes. We can even say, since you guys were talking about it, that you did that on the way here before you hit the road. So, what do you sort out for Alistair's disguise?
Well, I have
Something
an
in
idea.
yellow or pink?
I was thinking more about your face rather than your clothes.
That's fair.
But yeah, if any of you has a spare suit of clothes, you'd probably want to use those since you don't want him in his tattered prison outfit.
I have an idea.
Yeah, Worsen.
Oh my god.
Yes.
How
So-
about
What?
So Worson reaches into his satchel and unfolds in front of Alistair his somewhat old-looking outfit that he used to wear. You know, the bright orangish thing.
Perfect. They'd never expect me to be wearing this. I would never wear something this ugly. Perfect.
Well, yes, it
Yeah.
is unlike you.
Hey,
And the best way to disguise yourself as a prison inmate is to wear a bright orange suit.
well, actually, you know, it's like
Well, our outfit wasn't orange, so it's fine.
Yeah, and I think we should address Alistair by his prison serial number from now on. So instead of saying Alistair, we should all say, oh, 176 316. It's so good you're with us.
Yeah. Though I was
Obviously.
thinking Oliver would be better.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, wasn't that the name you first started using in Phasmatis?
Ye-
Oliver and what's surname?
King, I think.
Yes, that was the last name. But,
Oliver King, okay, it has a nice ring to it.
well, I can think of another name that has a better ring to it, but we'll talk about that later.
It does sound like a name that a mother would name their child.
I am slightly worried though, because, well,
Yeah?
you're a part of a secret police organization, weren't you?
Yeah, sort of.
And these people are very good at investigating and perhaps recognizing people.
Well, fortunately, so Alistair's hair. I
Yes.
realized something. Old-fashioned hair dye comes off in hot enough water, and I was swimming through near boiling water for 16 hours on Juniper.
Yeah, that's true.
And
Huh.
his roots are growing out, and
So his hair would have been back to black by the time we got back to the surface of Juniper.
You know, Blackstone explicitly referenced your hair during the battle.
I
So
know,
I'm
and
going to
that's-
say that's going to cost some foresight to change.
Fine by me.
Or you
All
know,
right.
we can just color your hair red.
How much foresight was that?
I'd say 2 points
Hey.
of foresight.
So, do you want to do something to disguise your face?
Sure.
Because I have an idea.
Okay.
So I want to spend a foresight to add an mundane item to Notrix's inventory, some bandages, and I'm going to take the bandages and wrap it all around Alice's head.
All right, great. And those bandages cost you like 1 silver.
Cool. Congratulations, Alistair. You're now a leper.
Oh boy,
could've
I've always
just
wanted
gave-
to be one of these for Christmas.
No one will want to take those off. Trust me.
That's urgent.
Couldn't I just have given you a disguise kit?
I
I
used to
mean-
have one of those.
This is more
I
fun.
have one of those.
You
That's
do?
fair. No! I mean, not here. I kinda left it at the C's song.
So yeah, Alistair is now a leper wearing a shitty orange costume.
Yes.
It's not
Fantastic.
And if anyone
it's
has
beautiful.
if anyone has the gall to take those off, Worsend, I think you should illusion his face to make him look really, really terrible.
So,
I can't
Uh,
really illusion his face. Oh, but you know what I have? I have a straw hat with a feather in it. No, wait.
No, wrong anime. I'm dressed like Naruto, not Luffy.
Fair enough. Also, hey,
all right, so you have created this disguise for Alistair, bandaged him up, put him in this ugly orange outfit, and you are now sort of trekking down this road, down the Dendorian route towards Ardoin. Occasionally, another cart will pass you. You're a little bit off put by that column of smoke that you saw that then suddenly disappeared. But as you continue walking, you hear in the distance towards the city this loud, this horn sound like someone blowing a giant shofar. And then slowly you see the column of smoke rising again.
This sound is not something that happened in Ardoin before when Alistair was there.
No, it's not. This is something new.
Hey, you know my dragon friend? The green dragon I've met? What if he escaped?
Dragon?
I thought it was a copper dragon.
The copper dragon. Yeah, I think. Like, I'm sorry. I think the piece was
You met a dragon?
green, but it was actually like copper. Yeah, there was one at the prison.
Yes, they
Huh.
told us about it, remember? As we were walking all
Yeah,
that way,
right.
they told us everything.
You know how I felt bad because every animal I touch dies? Yeah, that was one of them.
Oh, right. Sorry.
What if he
Kind of
escaped?
shakes her head a little bit. I've kind of had other things on my mind, and she kind of looks aside with a hint of red on her face.
Yeah.
yeah. We know, Kana. Don't worry.
Wait, what?
Shouldn't we kinda address the dragon?
Should we go look at it? Want me to go look at it? I'll come back.
I'm not sure it's a dragon. Like, if it's going off like on and off at seemingly regular intervals, it sounds like some sort of machine.
Hey, Don, real quick.
Huh?
How high can you fly?
I can fly pretty high, actually.
Okay, out of character. How high can you actually fly?
I actually don't know. I can
I
fly
don't-
like. I don't think it's limited, really. As much
Constitution
as-
checks at certain height, but yeah.
There is. Let me see. Hover. See?
Yeah, I think there
Firefly.
was never a limit put on how high you can fly, but a limit on, if you try to use magic or attack while you're flying.
Okay,
Yeah.
never mind.
This is strenuous, and you must do a DC 10 con saving throw at any time you attempt to attack. Okay. So yeah,
Alright, never mind. I was gonna do something stupid, but like if you could just fly up there, and okay, never mind.
well, actually, I could just fly up there. I could just go up there and look. See if I can see something from the distance.
But yeah,
Yeah,
you
right.
guys do also notice that carts pass you occasionally. Most of them being driven by oxen, the occasional finer one being driven by an elk, or the occasional smaller one being driven by some kind of a ram. None of the people driving these look at all concerned at the pillars of smoke that seem to periodically rise and fade from Ardoin.
No one's exactly running away.
Well,
Dog's
maybe.
gonna just go. Dog's just gonna fly up. I'm just gonna take a peek. See if I can see something. Flitter, flitter.
All right. So Dawn, you fly high, high up into the air, and you have to fly for, like a full couple minutes to get high enough to actually get a perspective on the city itself. You're still far enough away. You can't make out any details, but you can see kind of the course of the river and the spires of the city beyond. And you see there's a larger urban area to the east. There's a small, more hilly area with seemingly the tallest buildings in the center of the river. And to the west, uh, the buildings seem a little lower, and that seems to be where the smoke is coming out of.
But to the east?
To the west,
Oh,
in the
sorry.
part of the city to the west of the river.
Mm-hmm. West of the river. Alright. Don's gonna fly down. And yeah, he's just gonna say it's just coming from the west. Did he see that it was coming from like a building or something? Yeah, right?
You're too far away to tell that exactly. I will say that you didn't see anything that looked like the light or the orange or the yellow of a flame.
So I didn't see any like fire thing. I think it's just a building. I couldn't see what building it's coming from, but it's just a building.
In West Ardoin.
Yeah, over the river.
I think we should just keep going.
All right.
Doesn't
So
Logie need to get to that occult place though?
Well,
Well, he can also get his stuff.
we can also just go to Ardoin
Yeah.
and worry about that later.
Yeah.
I shrug. Okay.
yeah.
Sure.
So as you guys continue walking down this road, you get closer. Eventually, the skyline of East Ardoin itself comes into view. But Alistair, this skyline has changed. You're used to seeing these regular forests of octagonal spires kind of piercing the sky, the very distinctive architecture of Ardoin, but you see that it's broken up by these tall, thin, square structures that seem to be kind of at regular intervals around East Ardoin. And as you get closer, um, well, you can see that the grassland eventually sort of yields to the more well cultivated farmland and to the fields, the trees giving ways to fence posts as you approach the area known as North March. And in the distance, you can see that there is now a gatehouse where there was none before. And the towers on either side of it are not the sort of structure that you recognize in Ardoin. They are not that fine wooden lattice work. They're not that intricate plaster job. This is very utilitarian, kind of ugly, but very sturdy looking brickwork. They are flanking either side of this new small gatehouse, and you can see that the carts approaching are actually backed up for a few hundred feet there, as it seems that they're being checked before this gate, before they enter East Ardoin proper. There's not a wall on East Ardoin, but there is a new fence, seemingly constructed of these metal and wood poles. It's the kind of thing that a rogue like you could very easily scale. Actually, that all of you could very easily scale and get over. It's not a robust fence. However, from the placement of these towers, you get the sense that every point along it is being watched.
So what do you mean they're checking people?
It's difficult to tell from here as you kind of approach and find yourself at the back of this line of carts. It seems like each cart is going through some kind of a checkpoint before they enter the city itself.
That ain't good.
Fortunately, we have no cart.
Yeah, you can see that there is kind of here at the back of the line, there is this very fancy looking elk driven cart. And on one side of it, you can see sort of the insignia and it's labeled the Apothecaries Guild. On the other side is this sort of print of a very stylized crow's skull.
Uh-oh.
Alistair turns towards Invisible Me.
And you wanna specify why?
You're kidding, right? They're checking people.
I mean, I thought you had more of a reason, but okay. And with that, worsened
Well,
tap saddle.
it seemed like we'll be up there within the hour.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, yeah. Continue.
Yeah, just a tap on the shoulder, and there's no more Alistair visible.
So, if Logi's been in Ardoin for a while, does he know what this is about?
You know that it's become kind of standard practice for them to check those coming in and out of the city, that there are these guard posts. They're put up here as a. It's not really for Logi, who's never been here, it doesn't seem that strange. Most cities, not most cities, but a lot of cities have walls. A lot of cities have crenellations and places where they're watched. And so you have no reason to think that these large towers are anything different than that, than just checking and making sure that there's no riffraff coming in and out of the main gates.
Okay. And backtracking a bit, does he know what the smoke's about?
No.
Okay, so it's more recent then.
Not necessarily more recent. Let's see. Yeah, Logi was in Ardoin. I forgot that. He would have seen it once before, but would not really have known what it was about. And we'll say that he was feeling particularly uninquisitive that day and didn't ask what it was about.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, don't ruin
Smoke-
the DM surprise.
Seen a lot of smoke before. Not a big deal.
See, if I was
Sees
a
all the
Sarah,
time.
I would be a dick and be like, no, I think he was very inquisitive.
Yeah. Yeah, Don also seeing, the crow face and the Apothecaries Guild also goes, oh boy, and goes invisible.
All right, so Dawn and Alistair are invisible.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. One more thing before we do this. Has Logi used his magic at all inside of our door?
I don't think so.
No, not at least not in any sort of blatant way.
Does sound good.
Do magic people know when they can't magic because of reasons?
It didn't seem like it when when Notrix was in prison way back in the start of this. I'd say
Well, I didn't in the prison. I didn't know until I tried to do something.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Mm.
Thing is, well, Loki, you do need your packed weapon to summon that skin, and summoning the packed weapon is a magical thing. So I'd say that you'd you wouldn't have run into an anti-magic field in the city.
That sounds expensive. Anti-magic city.
Yeah, really.
Expensive, but it works.
Lathis would do it. He's a dick like that.
I mean, setting up
I mean,
Well,
he
it's
hasn't done it
taxi-
yet.
Was taxpayers' money?
Rich people didn't pay for it. That's for damn sure. Not in this city.
Yeah. Friggin' 1%, assholes.
Fuck. You have no idea, man. Anyway.
Anyway.
Yes, we're in a line and we're going towards the
We're both invisible. We're in a we're in a line.
All right, yeah. So you're invisible. You watch as the line presses forward. Eventually, a cart does come up behind you. Seems to be a leprechaun with actually it looks like 4 goats pulling his cart that is full of seems to be full of produce, though it also has in these sort of covered crates what look like roast hare, and he kind of brings him to a stop, slowly pulls him forward in the line. You're just walking alongside, and he sort of calls out to you guys, and he says, "Oh there, are you fellers all right?"
Yes, I think we are.
Oh, good, good. Well, you're a motley-looking crew, aren't you? If you don't mind me saying, I don't often see a lot of well, just groups of pedestrians coming through the north gate into Ardoyne. You know, it's usually if you get folks like that, it looks like poor families, things like that, or individual jobbers.
Well, we haven't been able to secure any mount or a cart for ourselves, so we've been forced to walk.
Oh, I understand. I understand. Hard times and all. It goes around. It goes around. But
Well,
you know.
it's not so much hard times as it is lack of convenient places to get such a thing.
Oh. Well, are you fellers all right? Just shifting around, you know. I've got some space in me cart if you want to keep me company for this. I don't know, the next 20 minutes or so until we get up to the gate.
She
Well,
now just kind of glances around at the group.
is that so loud? Do the guards take any interest in people grouping up like that?
Are you asking him?
Yes.
He says, "Oh, no, they don't care. You know, it's all a very standard thing. Just making sure that that there's no one suspicious coming in and making sure that there's no one with plague around."
Oh yeah.
Is this your first time in Ardoyne?
I have been in the city a little bit before, but the rest of us aren't as familiar.
Wouldn't Talcana have docked the boat there since he's been in
Oh
the city?
yes, I have a ship docked there.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna say that Alcana, there are multiple ferries that kind of cross the bay of Ardoyne, and it would be pretty expensive to dock your boat in the city proper. But there are ferries that are like literally 10 minutes away, where you probably could have, docked your boat to a smaller jetty, and I feel like it probably would have been on one of those.
Oh yeah, okay then. It's like I have a boat docked nearby, but not in the city proper. Too expensive.
Yeah, so Notrix
Of
himself wasn't in the
course.
city. He was outside it.
Yes, well, it's it's a pretty exclusive place. Don't often, well, I'll just say you don't see a lot of people from County Donan move into Ardoyne. Here, come on. I've got some spot on the bench, and I've got some spot in the back of the cart if you want to sit a spell.
That would be great. It certainly has been a lot of walking.
Yes.
I can tell. You look like travelers. You look like and he kind of looks around a little conspiratorially. You look like adventurers.
I guess. I don't know if I'd call ourselves that, but maybe.
Oh, oh, don't be modest, don't be modest. I can tell, I can tell. Oh, I've always dreamed of going out on an adventure of my own, but, well, I've got the fields to run and I've got a pretty good business going on here. So, what kind of adventures are you up to? Treasure hunting? Are you, I don't know, finding hidden ancient secrets, things like that?
Saving the world from giant squids.
Oh, saving the world from giant squids. I love it. I love it. I've never actually seen a squid myself. Well, I've seen the little ones that they sell in the market, but that doesn't really count. Oh, excuse me. I have been so rude. Seamus McLeary at your service.
Ah, nice to meet you.
Nice to
Seamus.
meet you, Seamus.
Does he look does he look very trustworthy? Does he look like he might be hiding something, like maybe smuggled goods?
You can roll an insight check if you want. He's like most leprechauns, he's got sort of this curly auburn hair, got a very round chin that's slightly doubled, a little bit of a belly, and he's wearing kind of a green vest and a black overcoat. He's got a little sort of brimmed, almost pork pie-ish hat. Yeah, it's I mean, you don't see anything, Logie, that's untoward.
And the rest of us roll insight just for fun?
Sure, why not?
Wow.
Oof.
Wow, you have one higher than Logie, but it's natural one.
Nice.
Oh, that wasn't supposed to be a
Oof.
disadvantage.
Well, I know all
Well,
about this person,
man,
and
Worsend always
there's
rolls
no
a very good insight. All right, let me
yes,
send you something, Worsend, real fast.
because there's no Seamus in knowing people's secrets.
I vote we retract his insight check for that alone.
No. What?
Where's in getting the secrets?
It's always that way. It was that way with Shy. Thanks for telling us, by the way.
I led up to it.
Led up to it. You should just spill what you learn immediately. What the fuck?
Yes,
you
but
you
that's
weren't
called
suspicious
metagaming.
of him?
That's also metagaming, by the way. I can't just say, "Oh, I got this from Ron," and like,
Wasn't Worsen the one who said that we should be checking people more often after the thing that happened?
that was Rom saying yes.
Same thing.
Versand looks at the others and and uh, looks a little curiously at this dude, and also looks towards his hands first. So, and with a smile, he says to Seamus, "So, you write a lot then, huh?"
Ah, oh well. It's a little bit more of a hobby. It's not. Wait, how did you know that?
I have an eye for fellow storytellers. As you can probably tell, I'm a bard.
Oh,
We
are you?
know
Oh,
we know things about each other.
oh, a real dyed-in-the-wool bard. Well, I'm sure you're full of stories. Oh, come on, come on. Hop up. Have a seat right here. I would love to hear some of your uh, chronicles of adventure.
Of course, you seem quite sincere about with your stories.
Oh, yes, yes. I'm sure it'll beat, just hauling vegetables from Dannon back to Ardoyne to Dannon back to Ardoyne. At least I'm getting a little bit more coin because well, the people here go mad for smoked hare. I mean, I wouldn't have believed you if you told me a year ago that I'd be selling smoked hare in Ardoyne, of all places.
Sometimes it indeed do be like that. Oh, and call me Worsened.
Worsend.
If you
Worsend. Oh, it is a great pleasure to meet you, Mr. Worsend.
pleasure to meet you too. Ooh, Seamus.
And he
No.
kind of just eagerly awaits any stories you have. Do the rest of you guys hop on his cart?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Worsen does give a signal that
Logie is,
it's okay.
I think Logie is
Okay.
going to position himself near the back of the cart, just in case.
Don's gonna like
Hmm.
stand on like an armrest or something.
Oh, Don's invisible.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So he can do
Yeah,
whatever.
Arcana would probably get in.
So, have you? I assume you haven't met any, you know, people who turn into giant beasts all of a sudden, right?
Oh, is that one of the things that you've seen on your adventures?
Seen? I've had the pleasure of not only performing in front of one, but also seeing one face to face.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Or is that sort of like a werewolf? I've heard about those in Mauritania. Sounds like a dreadful, dreadful sort of place.
Yeah, he was a bit of a grumpy person.
Wait,
Killed,
he was a
killed.
grumpy person?
So let me start at a slightly earlier scene. Where was
And
I? Was in Mauritania, yeah.
and
And
yeah, is just shocked, eyes sparkling as you tell him your stories.
Highly embellished stories.
mhm.
Yeah. As the cart pulls forward and you get closer to the gates, you can see a little bit more of the people there. It seems like there are a couple of Knights of Ardoin actually manning it, but then to either side of them, there are mourners, in their sort of heavy padded gear, black cloaks around them, and the trademark long beaked masks on their face. They're not like the masks that the Raven of Ailing wore. These ones are more utilitarian, seem to be made of uh, just leather, clearly stitched together. Both of them hold uh, staves in one hand, and with the other, hold leashes with these very large, heavily muscled dogs with these full leather muzzles over their heads. And you see eventually the cart in front of you gets to the edge, and you see, while they took a moment to actually like uncover the other carts, search through them, uh, ask a few questions of the people driving them, you see this one, they don't do that. Alistair, you notice it especially. Um, they instead just sort of kind of pat the side, and then the person driving the car kind of gets off and talks to one of the mourners, and you can read lips, so you can see him saying to him, "The crow watches," and the mourner seems to reply something back to him, though through the mask you can't see what that is. And he hops on back on the cart, and it's just waved through. Finally, it comes up to Seamus's cart, and he says, "Oh, well, hello, sirs, hello. I'm just making my regular shipment today. I, was here 2 weeks ago. Got produce, got smoked hare. I'm sure that you like those." The Knight of Ardoin just looks kind of bored. "Yes, yes, all right. Go ahead, uncover it. Who are all these other people in the cart with you?"
We're just some travelers. I'm actually rather a storyteller friend of Seamus here.
And
Well, we're passing.
Seamus kind of looks at you and gets a big smile and he says, "Oh, yes, good friends of mine. Good friends of mine. Just showing them the produce business, introducing them to the city, all that sort of thing." The guard looks at the rest of you impassively. "None of you have contracted plague. None of you have found any symptoms, exhaustion, nausea, coughing up green phlegm, anything like that."
I once coughed up a green flame out of my mouth as a performance.
Nothing of that sort, no.
Just
Yes.
raises an eyebrow and starts kind of sorting through the crates on Seamus's cart. Worsened, roll a persuasion check with advantage.
Ah,
Yeah.
He
fine.
kind of edges back over to you, Worsen, and he says, it's pretty strange having so many newcomers to Ardoyne all coming in at once. With a leprechaun, of all people. I've heard that leprechauns generally stay pretty much to themselves, homebodies. You
well,
have any other reason for being in the city today?
honestly, besides seeing the local plays, not really. Cause I've been raised as a child, and like I heard the Ardonian theaters are to die for.
Yeah, yeah, they're pretty fine if you're into that sort of thing. I mean, I saw actually a Cadian play the last month. Well, that's another story. Uh, if you don't mind, sir, you're fine, Mr. McLeary, was it? Uh, the rest of you, if you could step off the cart for just a second for a pat down.
And oh, yes, I guess we do step down. I guess the only weapon would be the mace, and that's in my backpack. I'm not sure if he's searching that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, Notrix has very little on him aside from the staff, the shield.
Oh, I would assume that Alistair would have gone through by now, by the way.
All right, roll a stealth check with advantage for Alistair.
Also,
Calling
nice.
it.
Oh yeah, you get
Oh.
through just fine.
Oh, that was.
Not a double
Yes,
one.
O'Connor would step down off the cart then.
Yeah, so he kind of he's not really doing a full search, but mostly just patting you down. First, he goes to Worsened, and he kind of discovers all of the instruments that are sort of. Well, I don't know how many instruments that you're carrying with you, Worsened.
Okay, so I know I didn't update the list, and I'm sorry, but like, what is gonna carry essentially is the lute, the flute, the lute, the flute, and the special the conch basically on.
Okay.
Does it count as
Fine.
a musical instrument or?
It's a little bit of both, but he kind of finds it and he says, "Oh, musician, one of those bohemian types. Fine, fine. You're good. Get back on the cart." Then he goes up to Logie and starts.
I should have you know, I play a mean Bohemian Rhapsody.
Don't know that one. Don't know that one. If you don't mind, I'm gonna keep doing my job here. He goes ahead and pats down Logie. Ooh.
Wow. Wow.
So,
Uh-huh.
Okay. Is he like, oh,
Logie.
your skin feels very, very odd?
Well, it's part of the spell that it's completely imperceptible, so he doesn't find that. Though he does, as he's patting you down, find the mace He pulls it out and he says, "Oh, this is a very interesting piece. Where did you get this, sir?"
Oh, I found it during an archaeological dig. It's sort of a passion of mine.
Huh.
I was
Doesn't
bound
look
to
like it
keep
came out of the ground.
Ah, no, it's it's remarkably well preserved.
Did you steal this, son?
No, I would have no reason to.
So you say you found this in a dig.
Yes.
Roll a deception check.
Ha! Sucker!
Yeah, he kind of he sighs, almost throws it back into your chest, and he says, "Fine, get back on the cart." Then he goes up to Alcana, and he let's see, pats you down very quickly, and let me see. He does notice that you are carrying a whole breastplate with you. Just the he says, "What's this? Why you have a whole other set of armor with you? Look like you're already pretty well armored as it is."
It was a gift from a friend.
Roll a persuasion check, Alcana.
Stop. I said stop while my thing loads. Or just roll a one.
Can Logi sort of try to help her by sort of leaning back and saying, "Oh, that was also recovered from the same dig. Yes, they're very well preserved artifacts, but they're not of very high importance, so we were allowed to keep them."
All right, yeah. Roll persuasion with advantage then, Alcana.
I mean, if you have advantage, why not? Oh, okay, I did not.
Told you.
Yeah, 25
Useless.
then. And he says, yeah, that's fine. Bunch of freaks coming in. All right, how about you?" And he pets you down, Notrix.
Bro, what the fuck?
Dang.
Wow.
Well, Notrix doesn't have a lot on him.
Yeah, he pats you down and he finds doesn't have a lot on him. You've got actually a lot of things on you.
I mean, he doesn't have all those on him though. Like stuff.
Oh. So as he's patting you down, he kind of takes a hold of the bag, your satchel, and he says, "What the hell is this?"
It's a pouch full of druidic ingredients. I mean, I would be very careful sticking your hands in there. It's very, very icky.
Looks pretty damn bizarre.
Well, yes, it's druidic. We are pretty bizarre.
Why don't you go ahead and open up that bag and show me what's inside of it?
Okay. So I guess Notrix reaches into the bag and pulls out a bundle of herbs that he's been getting for his potion making. And it's a lot of herbs.
Hold the bag open so that I can see into it.
Oh dear. What does that even look like? Okay. Oh,
What's in the
okay.
bag?
I'll hold the bag open and can I position the herbs to be on the top of it so it just looks like a bag full of herbs? Is that a thing I can do?
Well, here's the thing. When you just open the bag and look into it, it just looks like a void.
Okay. Let's see.
Sir, you're holding up the line, if you'd please.
Sure. I mean, have a look, but I mean, it's pretty weird in there. It's not your normal bag.
So do you hold it open for him?
I guess so, and you're not going to be able to see anything. It's enchanted.
What the hell is that?
I just said it's enchanted.
What the hell is that?
It's enchanted.
Don't look like much of a wizard.
Yes, but I am a druid. I just told you. Do you listen?
Look, man,
Druids
are
can't
weird.
enchant things. Can they? He calls back to the... Can druids enchant things? That's a wizard thing, right?
Actually, druids can have enchanted things. You know, from friends.
I mean, listen, I'm a druid and you're not. I think I know more about druids than you do, honestly.
Yeah.
Roll a persuasion check, and you have advantage from Worsend helping you out there.
Oh, okay.
See? Not all druids, man. Some druids are more special
Right.
than others.
Boy, what the fuck?
Bro!
Jesus.
Excuse me, what?
Look. Don't know what this is. I don't even know what those herbs are. Look, we're on lockdown here. There's a plague situation in West. Afraid I'm going to have to confiscate that bag.
Fine, I won't enter the city if you're going to be like that.
Friend, buddy.
No?
Why
Yes.
don't we say, I'm thinking that, how about we do a thing, right?
Listen,
You know.
listen. It's okay. I don't need to enter the city. I mean, we wanted to see the plays and the
Yes,
museum
you
and
do.
such, but I mean, I can just walk.
Come
I can
on,
just walk.
Trix.
Go back to Taverley. It's fine.
No, Trix. Come on.
It's fine.
But Trix.
It's like
You see, he kind of makes a hand gesture, and you see one of the mourners kind of step forward with this dog, this horrible dog. It looks like the size of a Doberman, but with the build of like a bulldog. And
Says, is this going to be a problem, sir?
Not unless my friend makes it a problem. Now I'm going to walk back down this line and walk back home.
Well, I'm sorry that these guards are embarrassing us, Trix.
Well, if they want to ruin our holiday, it's fine. I have better things to do anyway.
But Trix, we spent like months thinking about this. Come on.
Listen,
I think Logi is going to try to just sort of like put his arm on the guard's shoulder and says, listen, we're a pretty harmless bunch, and we've really wanted to see these plays for so long that...
Yeah, you're a harmless bunch. Let me tell you what else is harmless. It's a guy dying of plague, lays in bed all day, sick, covered in sores, and yet that's the kind of guy who could destroy an entire city if we're not vigilant. Look, I don't know what that bag is. You don't seem to be able to tell me what that bag is. Either
I
we
did tell
confiscate
you.
it.
I was going to transition that into a suggestion. So Logi tries to convince him again and says, if you just let us pass now, I can assure you we will be no trouble whatsoever. And he casts suggestion.
All right, what's the saving throw on that?
Wisdom?
Wisdom saving throw. All right. Let's see how this goes.
Ha!
Oh, wow. Okay.
So basically, Logi just does the whole Star Wars thing and says, waves his hand and says, "These are not the druids you're looking for."
Not the druids you're looking
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're completely right. I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. It's fine.
he calls out to the mourner who's still advancing. It's fine. Let him through. Let him through. And you guys are all kind of get hot back onto Seamus's cart, and you roll through this gatehouse into the city of Ardoin. As you do, Seamus kind of leans over to you and he says, "Oh, I'm terribly sorry about all of that. Lots of queer folk in Ardoin these days don't much care for it. Co-opting core and holding strange meetings and all sorts of things. But we're in the city now."
Yes, well,
And as you
I mean, I faced...
go down the Dendorian route, of course, think nothing of it. But as you sort of enter the city, see these beautiful buildings around you, let's go ahead and take a 10-minute break. Forgot what?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here, sorry.
So, as you sort of riding on Seamus's cart, he sort of turns towards the rest of you guys and he says, "Oh, well, I'll go ahead and take the long route around. Right now I'll be heading off to the High Market. I've got a couple of people there with whom I have an agreement to sell my wares, but, well, if this is your first time in Ardoin, you should really see the sights." So he kind of pulls on the bleeding quartet of goats before him. You can see that this is a very well-appointed city, very clean. The pavers expertly stuck together. Every few feet there are large planters overflowing with these bright grayish and yellow flowers and these vivid greens, these sort of perennial plants that survive even here in the beginning of autumn. There's still definitely a touch of summer on this city. You see that the streets are bustling. As you pass through the neighborhood known as North March, you are actually in North March already, though the new gatehouse sort of bisects it a little bit. You can see that there are a few sort of single family homes scattered here and there. There are a few pubs, but before too long, you get more into the city proper. You hear a town crier sort of ringing a bell and saying, "Escape at zoo, 2 injured in rampage." You see that there are a couple of small stalls set out in front of the places selling one selling produce, one selling what seemed to be clothing. You pass into the district that's known as Proscenium Row, and here you can hear the sound of the river. You can see these tall sort of theater houses, art places. You can see actually the museum that Alistair mentioned long ago, though the string at the top is a long sort of vowelless elvish word that none of you could even begin to pronounce, and that I'm certainly not going to try
Except
to.
the person who can understand and speak it.
Go on.
It's just called the museum.
Yeah.
It's called the museum.
No, it's literally called the museum in Welsh. So there you go.
Okay, so it's museum in Welsh.
Yeah, and there you pass by this square where there's this vibrant scene of there are singers and musicians out. At one place, someone has set up a little kind of makeshift box and is putting on a little bit of a puppet show. All of these sort of beautiful, cultured-looking people partaking in this place. There's a bistro with all of these people sitting outside, and as you pass by, you overhear snitchets of these sort of intellectual, philosophical conversations. People discussing the nature of faith, people discussing politics, people discussing the arts and literature. You keep going down what is clearly the high street here, the Dendorian route that, transfers from a wide country road into the main drag of Ardoin through to Queenstown. And this is the oldest part of, or second oldest part of Ardoin East. You can see the tall elven-style architecture of the council hall, the Singarlis. You can see this statue in white stone kind of right in the center, in this position of prominence. And this handsome woman, sort of in one hand, she holds a spear, and in the other, she holds a scepter that you can see is in the shape of this stylized tree. And one foot is sort of raised, and you can see that it is standing on top of this 8-pointed star that is crumbled and cracked. Not like this, the statue is seen decay, but more as if it's been built into it, showing her triumph over the 8-pointed star. You, Alistair, know that this is a statue of Queen Candace Ardignus, the founder of East Ardoin. You continue on past the large, what was once a Saradominus church, but that you can now see, Alistair, has new signage calling itself an interfaiths church. And you can see that there are symbols on there for Saradomin, for Guthix, for Zamorak, for Mohegan, and even a stylized image of a crow's skull that matches the one that you saw on the side of that elk-driven cart. And finally, you come into the high market, and here there is so much activity. Tall guild halls, these imposing structures gathered around this square where there are all sorts of stalls. Some of them are little more than kind of colorful tents. Some of them are these elaborate, sort of gilded looking construction stages where people are staging these hard sells for jewelry, for leatherworks, for shoes, for all sorts of things in almost theatrical sense. Everywhere, kind of carts being pushed in and out. You can see that there are numerous guards, all in different sorts of uniforms. There are Knights of Ardoin, there are city guards, there are what look more like mercenaries in their own sets of unique armor and cloaks. There is one large cart kind of right in the center of an open space that you can see is has these big loopy letters on the side, very attractive, saying Professor Winton D. Oreb's Canopy of Curiosities. But Seamus takes you past that and finally to the sort of more humble, one of the more humble kind of almost warehouse spaces at the edge of the high market, where a couple of a leprechaun and a human greet him. They begin unloading the things, and he says, "Oh, well, it was a real pleasure to meet all of you, especially you, Worsen. Fantastic stories, and sorry again about all that embarrassment there at the gates."
Oh, no, it's fine, it's fine. I really liked your part of the stories, and hey, maybe we can meet up later and discuss more. All right?
Oh, I'd love it. I'd love it. You're fine folk, even though, well, we've only known each other for, well, not even an hour yet, but still, you're fine folk.
That's how it happens. Oh, and before we leave, I kind of wanna. Hang on, sorry, I'm just checking. Okay, so Orsent hands him a single gold piece and says with a smile and says, "Keep working on that story, all right?"
Oh, thank you, Mr. Worsend. Oh, you can bet I will. You can bet I will.
I hope to see to myself tell it at anywhere I go. But for now, that'll be all.
Oh, you bet. I'll keep working on it. Well, I hope to see you all soon. And he turns away and begins helping to unload his cart and the sort of roast hares that are all in these boxes on the top.
Oh,
Well,
this is
Smiled.
very idyllic, at least going by the music.
Orson smiles and looks to the rest. Well, here we are. The grand city of Ardoin. Never thought I'd be here. But here we are.
You can
What?
just feel Alistair glaring at you, even though he's invisible and has a mask on, or whatever.
well, at least that Seamus was a nice fellow.
Yes.
He is. He's eyeing up. He might have seemed suspicious, but I can tell that he's very sincere, and he quite liked my stories. He's also right. He's also a bit of a writer, but you know, gentle and sweet guy.
Yeah, I
I
like
hope to
that
see
guy.
more.
Yes.
Well then.
This moment, you hear a loud voice, kind of artificially amplified, ringing out across the square, coming from the sort of large cart that you passed before. It says, "Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Winton D. Ober presents, directly from the dark lands of Forinthry, ancient oddities. Come witness for yourself under our canopy of curiosities, the relics of another age, entities so bizarre and terrible as to confound all human knowledge. This week only, you too might share in that elite cadre of sturdy souls and enlightened mystics, brave enough to lay eyes on the titans that once made the very gods tremble. Only 5 silver. Ladies and gentlemen, step up, please."
Well, that sounds
Boring.
Interesting.
it sounds
Probably
like,
just
I like it.
some worthless fossils, but it's worth a shot.
We're in the area.
I feel like my understanding of the universe has been turned upside down enough times that it's probably right side up now.
well,
You're telling me.
I'd be interested in seeing what kind of things he thinks he's got from Frankfurt.
I don't know, but I'm definitely curious.
They're probably scams. I appreciate him.
Well, I've been there a little bit myself. I could probably be able to tell, at least to some degree, if they're legitimate or not, though I'm not 100% sure.
Well, anyone
Even
with a
if-
cart like that
if-
is probably not going to be the most trustworthy businessman, but it might be a laugh.
Probably.
Yeah, even if it's a scam, 5 silver pieces isn't that much. As long as we keep our pockets secure from any thieves, we should be all right.
Or should we get some non-orange clothes for Alistair first? Because he's about to
Oh
pop
yeah,
out.
are Alistair and Don still invisible?
Yeah.
Has it been an hour? Otherwise, yes.
Yeah, it's not quite been an hour yet. It'll be up soon though, probably within like the next 10 minutes.
Yeah. I just don't think orange is the
Okay.
best hiding color.
Yeah, it's
I
the new
like it.
black.
It is. See? Someone agrees with me.
Anyway, do we see any clothes
Yes,
shops?
I mean,
And I'm thinking,
you are in
thinking
the
like
middle.
something very extravagant that is the complete opposite of Alistair's normal look. Like
Yeah,
the most dandy, posh pish clothes store.
With
And
a
some
big
hair
hat.
dye, please. I want my white hair back.
yeah.
Edge.
You're in the middle of a vast and varied market. You can find pretty much anything in here.
Wait, did you say you want your white hair back?
Yes.
Isn't that like one of the most distinguishing features you could add back to yourself?
When they found me, I only had black hair.
But wouldn't you be kind of seen in a crowd like, oh, look at that guy with white hair? That's rare.
I mean, is it?
Yeah.
Are there
Unless
any
you're old.
people
Kinda.
Are there any people with young hair that just coincidentally happen to walk past us right now
Notrix
for
is
the
standing
sake
there.
of illustrating a point?
Yes, Notrix is standing right next to you.
Yeah, I was about to say. Oh, yeah. Oh.
Okay, sure. Understand. I get it. I get you.
Okay, hear me out. How about we just get Alistair a makeover? You know, find a makeover mage and just get him through.
But is that canon?
It is now.
I think you'd have to go to the dwarves to find cannons.
Aren't you a dwarf?
Only in part.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. I think first we should look for like a corner or like some sort of thing that we can hide, some place where Alistair can become visible again without people being like, someone suddenly appeared out of nowhere.
Didn't you have
I
a hotel
mean,
room
Yeah.
or an inn room?
we either that or
Oh
we
yeah,
can just
Logie has a room.
Are
Yeah,
we
but
within 10 minutes of it?
Yeah, is it that close?
No, it wouldn't be here. Logie wouldn't be able to afford to stay in this part of town. But I'd say that you can probably like get a block away and not right here, but like dick into an alley, and if all of you guys kind of stand up sort of next to each other, you can probably shield Alistair well enough for him to go visible again.
see. That's what I was thinking. Thank you.
So how about some of us do that and others just buy some clothes and we come back together and make Alistair pretty.
Make Alice pretty, yes.
Yes, I vote for Worsend and Dawn to be the one to pick out clothes because they're the most
Yes.
sensible one. What?
Oh,
Suddenly,
we got this.
Suddenly, I feel like I want to be back in Fort Altus.
Oh, come on. We're gonna pick you the best clothing.
How do you
Is
feel
that
about
right, Dom?
hats? Yeah.
Don't get something that will
I
stand
don't
out too
know.
much. Be reasonable with this extravagance.
You can't see him, but Alcana, you can almost feel Alistair looking at you like, save me.
Think like a
and then
foppish
I'm
squire.
thinking that she would then. Shit, the telepathy only works if she can see him. Damn it! No!
You can't
I don't-
telepathically talk to him without seeing him.
You can't see him. Sucks. Sorry. Let's go. Shopping time.
Let's go! And
Let's
Worth
go.
attempts to grab
fly
Dawn,
off.
but invisible.
I fly onto his arm. Let's go.
Guys, I'm compelled by an all-natural force to go out clothes shopping with. So I'll be back in a bit. Bye.
I'm that all natural force. Bye.
So, Worsend and Dawn, what sort of outfit do you guys search for? Bearing in mind, you can pretty much find anything here.
I've always wanted to dress Alistair. Okay, you ready?
Give me a suit like Don's.
I'm listening.
Yes, I was thinking like we gotta find like some kind of like a nice, sleek looking tux. Almost as smooth. Almost as smooth as the one comment he said last night.
Maybe instead of just looking it for Al, why don't we all get a squad like in tux suits?
That'll kind of
know?
like attract attention. Actually, no,
Yeah.
that's a great idea.
No, that would
That's a
attract
great
attention.
idea.
That's
We
a
need to do that
terrible idea.
right now.
No, that is a terrible idea.
I mean, you can
You
pay
know-
for it, but you can't force people to wear it.
It's just we're gonna be real popular. Just going, me and the boys going out in a nice and arm.
Okay, Al would have like a black suit, right? Because he's kind of
No.
like
Yeah.
like. But
No.
then, but then-
Do not dress him in black.
They suspect him in black. How about
oh,
blue?
you're right. All right.
Blue,
We'll
dark
have
blue.
him
Dark blue.
have
Green.
dark blue.
Somehow I
Green!
feel like Dawn
Green!
would get a little. I was about to say I think Dawn would want to dress him in
Blue.
green.
Blue.
Green. No, green. Listen.
Turquoise.
Blue is
Somehow-
edgy, right? Green. Green
Yeah.
is hello, ladies.
Cyan.
Somehow you hear Alistair in the back of your head saying green.
Yeah,
I
I
think-
think. Trust me, I've known Al for a
I
few
think-
months. All right. He'll want green. Please. I'm like begging in invisible.
All right,
Yes.
but it has to have a pattern of green. It can't just be all green, right?
Why? I have all green.
You have a pattern of some green.
Yeah, on my all green. It's like a light of green.
He means different kinds of green.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. But like, the base color is green, like a dark green.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, he's gonna have that.
Now I'm thinking for like trousers and all. He's gonna have something real nice, like
Like those
what color?
puffy. Those puffy pants that the fancy people
Puffy
wear?
pants? Really?
Yeah.
I,
Nope.
I don't. Nah, I don't think that'll be
Like-
good.
Breaches?
Breachers.
No. Let's see.
What do these look like?
We need something that basically says "Hello, ladies," but also says, "Yeah, I'm smug," and not, "Yeah, I'm a potential disaster."
True. Okay. Okay, so the tux, right? We got the tux. How about we gotta get him like a really good hat? That's like it's
Do
not like
we?
my hat. It's gotta be we do. We have to get him a hat. It's gotta be like something that
How
screams
about?
confidence. We need a cane. He needs a
Uh,
cane, okay? He needs something to walk with.
I'm thinking he needs more of a. I'm thinking he needs more of a bow tie. You know?
Yeah, okay, you're right, a bow tie. Okay, but hear me out, alright? A bow tie and a hat.
Isn't that
Yeah.
too much style though?
I don't think I don't know, because I mean that's
I
what
mean,
I had for a while, and I looked amazing. Just imagine
you
what like
did.
a 6 foot guy would have.
Well,
Ah.
okay, I'll say this. Don would know what Alistair would like and what Alistair would look at worse and say, if you don't fucking take that back right now, I will slice your throat open.
True. Okay.
Oh, you know what? I have an idea that's basically just away with all your ideas, and I just want to do it for me.
Uh huh.
So it's white, right?
Uh huh.
And it has a few spots on it,
What do you
like
mean spots?
black tiger spots on it.
Okay.
You not understanding no black.
But that's if they're like spots, whatever,
No.
right? It's just they're spots.
It's like
Like a jacket, right? Like
I'm
like a
gonna
fancy
hang on.
jacket
Okay, so
that has like a white and like some.
Can we
Okay.
choose
Spots
literally
on it.
anybody else to buy me clothes?
No.
can I link it in the session chat real quick?
I will spend 4
Go
seconds.
for it,
I'm gonna just link it so you can judge.
Ron. Don't listen to Sep, okay? We're making this happen.
This is
Holy
fantastic.
shit!
This thing.
Look at the
Okay,
jellies!
fine. I'll get that, but only because of the reference.
I imagine we're like walking the store. We're like, okay, maybe a green tuxedo, right? And then we stumble across this, and we freeze, and we both look at each other, and we just go,
It's a perfect.
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 But we also gotta get like the hat and like the
The
bow
hair
tie, and that's
dye.
it. The hair dye too. Okay, white hair dye? Is that too much white?
Yeah, I think that's a little much.
What if we had the shirt and then like a black pants? So it's not like totally all 100%
No
white.
black. Dark green.
Dark green pants. Dark green
Okay,
pants. And
I have
ooh,
enough
green hair dye.
Okay, no.
Listen, I feel like Alistair wouldn't like the green hair dye, but listen, sometimes we gotta do stuff that's for the better, right? Like
Okay,
he might not like
so-
it, but we all know the ladies are gonna like it.
Okay, I have another outfit.
Do you literally not remember what just happened earlier in the session?
You ready?
I don't
I'm
know about
not
that.
wearing-
Nah, I like the white. I like the white.
Look, if you're getting me anybody, you know who it has to be.
Yes. Okay, no, better. No, I can't because it's black.
No, not
guess-
him. From part 5.
Yes, I know.
Window. Are you getting it? Oh,
Anyways, I just killed the entire whole thing here. I'm sorry.
I think we should go back to Don's original plan of the green suit.
you know, we can have
fuck.
the green suit, but we could have like a jacket on top. That's like the white pandas thing. How would that? Panther. How would that? That's a
Sure.
good compromise. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like a dress jacket.
Hey, Sep.
Yes.
Someone beat you to that idea.
Good.
All right. All right, we're
Oh,
getting
yeah.
that. We're getting the fedora, milady. We're gonna get the bow tie, also dark green, looking spiffy. And should we get him a cloak? Does he need a cloak or not? Probably not, right?
Too roguish.
Does he?
Too roguish, right?
Nah,
Yeah, he
no clue.
the ladies want to see some body action. You know what I mean?
That's what the whole circle in the middle is for.
Exactly. No
Exactly.
caps.
No capes.
All right, let's do it. And
Yeah.
Don like flies over to it, like points at it, and he's like, "Okay, I don't think I should show myself in our doing because I think people might freak out. So you're gonna have to buy it,
Though-
okay?"
All
As
right.
you say this and you flit it around, you notice actually a couple of people already turn their heads and see you and just kind of go back to what they're doing. You know, it's almost like New York here. No one really cares.
Oh, okay.
God,
Like he
this place
sees
is-
he sees that, and then he's like, "Well, never mind.
Hey, you're flying there.
I'm flying here." But yeah, we buy all these amazing items, and we I mean, how much are these?
Yes,
Uh,
that's the most important part.
Yeah, I'd say with all of that together, you getting hair dye too?
Green hair dye.
Say that would run you 11 gold.
Easy. Wait. you got gold? I
I
only
got
have
a few.
chimes. Thank you.
You could have converted it at any time.
You could have,
Yes,
yeah.
you can convert those.
Oh wait, no, you can't. You were in prison.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
right.
Don was in prison, but I'd say that if Don wants to, Don can probably at some point find a place to change his money here in Ardoin. It's a major city. It's a port city.
At some
Fair.
point, yeah, I imagine he did that, and then
Well, he can do it eventually.
he can do it eventually. Not now because I don't want to change foresight.
Okay,
Exchange.
so essentially, Worsen is gonna pay 11 gold and is just gonna ask Don for like 5 later.
Perfect.
Yeah, and you buy this beautiful set of clothes, very, very well made, though not too ostentatious. It feels like it could be at home a lot of places. This, fine green suit, the tie, this jaunty hat, sort of a white frock coat that's a little bit dramatic but still tasteful. It's a great set of clothes.
Looking spiffy.
So what was everyone else doing while these two chuckle friends were off shopping?
We were
Having a
looking,
panic attack.
we were looking for a place where Alistair could be when the invisibility ran off.
Yeah, I guess I could do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're able, get a couple blocks away from the high market itself, kind of a little bit closer to the docks, to the shoreline, or to, well, what's called the old slave quarter, though it's not actually, it doesn't actually have anything to do with slavery now. Alistair knows that it's called that because of its ancient association with human slave pens when this was a Baxtorian empire, but now it's mostly more of a kind of a martial military quarter. But you find a spot where there's not a lot of people, duck into an alley, kind of stand shoulder to shoulder, looking inconspicuous, and Alistair behind you just goes visible. No one spots him.
Alistair kind of comes up behind Alcana. Please tell me you did not actually let them go shopping for me.
Um.
Well, they volunteered.
Maybe. I'm sorry.
Hopefully they don't come back with something too stupid. As long as you like it, I guess that's all that matters.
Aww.
All right then.
We're back.
And we got you a spiffy new suit.
Very spiffy.
All our age these days.
Alistair looks over it all, and at times he smiles, at times he just kind of but overall he looks over all of it and goes, not bad, not bad.
Not bad at all.
See? And you two doubted us for our fashion sense.
Me and Worsen here are the most stylish party members in this group, okay? We know what we're doing.
We take fashion very seriously.
Very seriously.
We just, I guess, together like folding hands, like serious business.
Oh yeah.
So I guess Alistair tries to find a place to get changed.
An alleyway or something. We'll block the.
Well, since Logie has a room in a tavern, we could go there.
I guess.
Oh, I was thinking just get
Assuming
changed here.
it's-
Just
Assuming it's
alleyway.
not too far. Well, I guess that works.
'Cause I mean,
Like Ron, this isn't like a terrible like super medievally city with a well, you said it was clean earlier, but like this district, it's not like
No,
like
it's
shit runs in the streets.
no, it's not like that at all. As a matter of fact, Alistair would know that this is one of the places in the West that actually does have a full sort of modern plumbing system. That Arduin has actually a well-regarded sewer system that was originally created by the elves, but that's been sort of expanded and improved upon by humanity.
Because we do things better.
Yes, but actually no.
Shut up, elf boy. So yeah, I suppose he could get changed very quickly here.
Yeah, you know, I said it was easy enough to find a spot to go visible the last time. And so you can go to that same, back alley, sort of get changed really quick, wrap a towel around you, do it like you're on the beach. Yeah, you sort of, a couple of you wait aside and you see a few minutes later, Alistair step out in his posh new digs.
Looking like the Riddler out in this bitch.
Looking good.
Oh, good gothic,
Yeah,
that's
it
ridiculous.
looks really good.
Nachix is the only sane one.
Alistair just kind of looks at Alcana. Well, glad you think so.
Dude, he like, if I had a fashion show, he would be the very first person.
I don't know, if he
He
was
would
in
be the
my
only-
fashion show, he'd be best for last, you know what I mean?
Actually, you know what? Maybe we leave a fashion show just for him.
Yeah,
You
just for
know.
him. And we don't change the outfit, it's just this outfit. And he walks
It's
up and
just-
down like 50 times, never claps every time.
Every
This is
time. It's gonna make fortune.
You know, I haven't decided on Logie's outfit, so let's say that his sort of day-to-day civilian outfit is a mix.
We kind of lost you.
Say that again?
Well, I was pausing for dramatic effect. I didn't actually cut out.
Sorry.
Nice.
It's like Indiana Jones.
Ooh.
And
Ooh.
let me find a good picture. Oh, Kent.
There you go. There you
Hey.
This is amazing.
That's fantastic.
One fashion episode, yeah.
We need to name this episode Serious Business, by the way.
No. Okay, let's name it. Name it after the session ends, of course.
So,
Ah.
yeah, you all look at each other, Logie and Alistair especially looking like a couple of very professional gentlemen, and Don in his now clean thanks to Werson, but still sort of tattered suit, looking like someone who might have been a professional gentleman a long time ago.
Hey, Dom.
Yeah.
You know, we spent all that time thinking about Al. We kind of forgot about you. I mean, you need a new hat.
That is
Right.
true. I was planning to buy him when we got back to Haranu, but, well,
I assume that we'll be using this, and Alcana just kind of taps the bag of molding.
Maybe we could
Oh,
find
yeah.
a doll store.
A doll store?
Or we could buy normal size clothes. We could put in the bag of molding, and I could pull them out. they'll
Yeah,
fit me.
but wait, wouldn't they tear up?
Nope.
No?
Oh, they tear up.
Good question. I don't know.
Yeah, no. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I guess we could, you know what? I saw this one tuxedo. That was awesome.
Really? What color was it?
Green.
Of
It's
course
not
it
the
was.
one I'm wearing, is it?
No, it's a different one.
Is it like light green, dark green?
It's more light green this time. No, actually, no. You know what? There's another one that was dark green. Maybe that one's better, cause like, I'm a rogue. I gotta be able to
Well-
slip through the shadows.
Maybe we like have a, some kind of dagger embroidered on the side of it, like on the back of it.
Oh, you're speaking my language. All right, yeah. I imagine we're walking and talking, by the way, and we get to the place.
I mean, you're flying, but okay.
Well,
Oh,
anyway, let's
I'm
go back to
flying
the
and
market
talking.
from the alley.
So you find like a nice green tux, and you have a dagger embroidered on one sleeve.
Hell yeah!
I love it. They sort of, the older woman running this place, older but like not like decrepit, just sort of actually looks very sort of kind of fashionable and very sort of a very hip older woman, and she kind of just raises one eyebrow at you and says, "Oh, well, never seen one of those before. Uh, yeah, embroidery. We can do custom embroidery. Come back in about an hour, and we should have it ready for you. That'll cost run you 9 gold pieces.
Hang up, 9 for an embroidery?
For the suit with the custom embroidery, yes.
Hey, that's a good deal.
Oh. Is it though? Because
Yeah,
I
right?
think like you can get one in I think you can get like in Varrock for like 7.
Oh, well, you're not in Varrock, honey.
Oof, she's right.
Hmm.
And I mean, I did
Weston,
get to.
can you cover me? I still haven't converted my chimes yet.
Yeah, just make sure you paid back, alright?
I will. Sorry.
It's cool.
All right.
So that was
Okay.
9, right?
Yes, that's correct. 9 gold pieces.
Sure. And he hands down 9 gold pieces, but as the last one it drops, is just kinda reluctantly, just not willing to let that one go just yet.
Thank you very much, sir. Sirs? Yes, if you'll just come back in an hour, we should have your suit ready for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So, Rond,
Yes.
do you think I can have my lacquer armor under the suit, like proper Clark Kent Superman style?
I have emphasized multiple times that lacquer armor is very light. I'd say it would be a little bit bulky, but probably more like, like 80s jacket bulky, not like, oh, he's got a full set of armor under there.
Yeah, okay, I'll go with that. Just makes me look even more bizarre.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
well-
think while they're off doing all that, I'm thinking that Alcana would want to check out that odd curiosity stand that was that the guy was shouting about before.
I mean, did we want to just do that all together? Like,
Or
if we have an
if
hour
we can
until
do that all together, yeah.
until they finish the suit.
I mean, I might have somewhere I want to go for an hour.
You?
Yeah,
Hmm?
Where do you want to go?
somewhere.
Ooh.
Well, to those of us
Oh,
who
I
aren't
think
being
I know what you're
dramatic,
talking about.
Do you? You remember how we passed through the northern part of the city?
Yes?
The section there is called North March. That's where I lived. But the house isn't where I want to go. There's something else up there.
There is? What is it?
Graveyard.
Oh,
Do you need a candle by chance?
We could get you one.
do you want me to go with you there?
I thought you wanted to check out the cart.
Well, hmm. Would you like it if I came?
Yes.
Then I'll go.
I've had enough trips to a funeral to graveyards lately, so I think I'll pass.
We're doing that thing again. We're splitting the party.
So, are Alistair and Alcana heading to the graveyard while the rest of you guys go for the canopy of curiosities?
Yes.
Yes, the guy with the suspicious last name.
Yes.
Yeah.
So as you approach this, once more, kind of in this clearing in the high market, you can see him. He's sort of standing on top of a crate. He's an older gentleman, very tan, though the tan does not look very natural. You know, it doesn't look like he's a Menethite or anything. His has a bald head with a few wisps of kind of gray hair around it, though he still looks very sprightly. He doesn't look aged, and he has this, you know, like just tin megaphone that he's holding up and just gesticulating wildly in front of this kind of cart that has actually been set up like this tent that extends right from the cart as if the cart is incorporated into it and the tent expands its area several times behind him. You also see that there's this dwarf with this very kind of bushy, peach colored beard and puffy hair. Is kind of moving crates in and out of the tent. Looks very bored, but the gentleman who you assume is Professor Winton D. Oreb continues. And I beg you, if you are pregnant, have a heart condition, or find yourself in possession of less than perfect courage, be warned! The eldritch truths on display within our canopy of curiosities may overwhelm those who are not sturdy of constitution and intellect. But if you have the uncommon bravery to stare deep into the secrets of the cosmos, step forward! Don't be shy, all sales are final.
I've seen worse. Nothing can scare me. Not after you know where we went.
Worse than just cheekily just softly says boo into Dawn's ear.
It's just a marketing pitch.
Alright. Since people don't think it's weird that a fairy's around, hell yeah, Don's gonna walk on up.
Ho! You there!
Hey, my name's Don.
Dawn, yes, of course. You and the rest of your compatriots. Do you think that you are made of strong enough stuff to gaze into the secrets of the universe?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I
If
mean,
so,
I can
then
gaze
simply.
into it.
Oh, go ahead, sir. Go ahead. I'd love to hear what you have to say.
We can stare into it and it'll stare back, no problem.
Oh, now that is the sense of adventure that I come to expect in the brave, sturdy people who step through this flap into this tent and see the secrets contained within. Simply slip, for the four of you, 2 gold pieces into my hands and gaze and walk forward.
So 5
I
silver.
think I think Logie is just going to give him the 2 gold. And he'll
Thank
go,
you very
"Oh,
much, sir. Thank you very much. And he calls out, Honeydew! Open the flaps. We have 4 more brave travelers exploring the
Honey?
mysteries of the cosmos.
Really?"
And the dwarf kind of puts down the crate, looks at you with just this long-suffering expression, and he comes,
All right, you lot. I'm over here. You can come stay in the tent as long as you want. But once you leave, you can't go back in. At least not without paying again.
Okay.
Sounds fair.
Yes, let us
Okay.
face these horrible artifacts of doom.
Yes, let us journey into mystery.
yeah. And he kind of just holds open the flap, and the tent is dim within, too dim to really clearly see what there is without going inside.
Hopefully we don't get jumped and we walk in.
You
All
know,
right, so
I
as you
heard.
all walk in, I don't have a good slide for a tent, sorry. But you walk in, it takes a second for your eyes to adjust to the light, but you see that there are a few sort of exhibits spread around here, and above each of them hangs a sort of shielded oil lamp that's uh, kind of been built to create like a spotlight over each one. You see to the left of you is this large skeleton of this strange beast. None of you have ever seen anything like it. Its bones are extremely thick, heavy, unlike anything you've seen. Four very short limbs and a head that looks almost like a spade, just this big solid wedge of bone with these two tiny sockets where the eyes must have been in there, and a lower jaw that's kind of receding with these big flat teeth. To the right, you see that there is a table that, as you approach it, you see it's full of these just corroded bits of metal. Some of them look vaguely like blades. And there's a little plaque that says that they are the grand weapons of the forces of the God Wars, though to look at them, you have no idea what these are. Maybe they came from an archaeological dig, maybe they came from out of the garbage. And then on the back wall, there is a humanoid skeleton that's been sort of propped up, and you can see sort of these metal ties where it's been put together. It's been positioned in a way that its arms are kind of drawn out, splayed, and in one of them it holds this fairly cheap looking short sword that's clearly not an original part of the exhibit. Yeah, it's about 7 feet tall, but the two things that make it stick out, besides the mostly very old looking bones comprising it, it looks a little elongated, sort of too thin to be a human, especially in its fingers. You can tell these phalanges, if they were a human hand, the fingers would be twice at least, maybe even 3 times as long as they should be. And the skull is something completely different. While at the top, it looks vaguely like a human skull. It's got the sockets, it's got the crown. The crown itself is a little bit more bulbous and kind of extends back. And below the eyes, instead of going into a jawline, there's a set of 3 other holes, almost like eye sockets themselves.
Is that the
Hmm.
Mothman?
So just looking at these, does it look like they're? Can I look at them and determine if they're like a hoax stitched together? If it's a hoax, like made up of different kinds of bones, to try to make it look like some alien creature, while in actuality it's like something mundane.
Roll an investigation check. It's difficult to say for sure. This isn't really your area of expertise. As you look more closely at each of them, you see that there's a small plaque next to the large quadrupedal skeleton that refers to it as Brutalo, Ravager of the Earth. And there's another plaque on this one on the far, not really the wall, but sort of the far side of the tent, that refers to it as Oculo, the Fiend of a Million Eyes.
1,000,000 eyes. Whoa.
I think that's a bit of an exaggeration.
I think I can count like how many eyes he has. Let's see.
I mean, some insects might have 1,000,000 eyes, but
I feel like this is the sort of thing where they would just take the bones of a cow, maybe the bones of a human, and a few other animals, and just jumble them together to make something that looks vaguely like a real thing.
You don't think it's real?
And Loki just cocks his head, looking at one of them. It doesn't look. I mean, it doesn't look like something that would come about naturally.
Dawn, make a perception check with advantage.
Sure. $20.
All right, I'm going to send you something. I'm going to send you a message.
Okay.
Hmm.
Ooh, I'm getting a message, guys.
Spooky.
Spooky.
So
Spooky,
Is
scary
this-
skeletons.
is it like the only spooky scared skeletons in here, or are there more skeletons that can send shivers down our spines?
Well, there was
Isn't
the
there one more?
humanoid, and there was the little creature,
Yeah.
and there was swords, corroded swords.
Oh! Dawn, like, looks closer at it, and then he just freezes.
Dawn, you okay?
That
Uh,
You
Dawn?
recognize it?
that skull.
I didn't.
It's
I didn't realize you could be so still while floating.
that skull. It's a mind slayer.
What?
Huh. What is-
It's something that lives in Xanaris. How did it get down here?
Maybe the same way you did?
Was it summoned?
When usually summon things go back to the spirit plane when they die. They don't leave skeletons.
Yeah.
We don't really have Dawn to prove that. I mean, we're not gonna kill Dawn.
Well, Don appears to be different. He lasted a lot longer than any familiar.
I think I'm basically free, but let me talk to the guy that runs this joint.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm gonna.
Remember that you can't come in again if you leave now.
It's fine. I'll make him come in. I don't care. And I fly out, and I go to the. What was the guy's name that ran this place?
At least the name he gave was Professor Winton D. Oreb.
Professor Wintel or whatever your name is. Hey,
Ah, yes, of course. Another satisfied customer, I'm sure. How is your sanity holding up after looking upon those eldritch mysteries?
out of curiosity, how is your sanity? Hey, and I look around, and then I lean in. How do you have the skull of a mind slayer?
He just sort of looks at you blankly for a second, and then he goes back into his spiel.
Ah, you must not ask that. Why, that is a trade secret. Why, I would not be standing before you here today as a purveyor of the secrets of the universe if I did not keep a few secrets of my own.
Can you drop the
Oh,
act, buddy? Come on, this is serious.
Roll a persuasion check.
Normal. Wait, that's perception. Sorry. Yes.
He kind of looks around, sees there are no customers, no one paying much attention right now. His shoulders slump. Says,
what is it? What is it? What's the problem here? Look, I said all sales are final. All right, that's part of the whole thing. All sales are final.
I just want to know, where'd you get that skull that you got in there with that amalgamation of things? That's like a dangerous creature, and like that's normally never on Gielinor. How did you get that?
Look, I'm a legitimate businessman. Okay, all of these are oddities and curiosities from Forenthry. That's true. Okay. Maybe you're not satisfied with that, but that's not my problem. You got what you paid for.
You got these from Forenthry?
Yeah.
I want to roll
What
inside
about
on this boy.
That was the most insincere yeah I've ever heard.
Yeah, it was insincere.
Yeah, really. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Yeah?
he looks at you, and you get the sense that wasn't really an insincere yeah, not like a lying yeah, so much as it was a yeah that does not want to elaborate at all.
Elaborate. Where'd you get it? Tell me. Come on, give me the details. Who am I gonna tell?
Look, friend, what are you? You're a fairy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Never
Xander
actually
is
seen one in the
born.
flesh, but I don't know how they do things in fairyland. But look, you're gonna scare off the customers, okay?
I'm not gonna
You
scare off any customer. Listen, I don't care that you'll keep the skull, whatever. I just want to know where you got it. Give me some details. I just want to know.
I told you it came from Forinthry.
Okay, but where in 4 and 3? Did you see a guy? Did you catch it yourself? Did you summon it?
Look, it came from Forinthry. Why you gotta know more than that?
Cause it's important, man. Trust me, it's fairy business. Don't worry about it.
Roll. Huh. You did already roll that 20. I don't think 20 is enough to get him to elaborate, though. Yeah, he kind of grits his teeth and he says, what do you need to know this for? What do you need to
It's important. Just tell me, man. Or I can show you scaring away your customers.
look? Look around here. You see, uh, uh, city guards, Knights of Ardoin. You got the League of Heroes over there. This place is crawling with guards. Don't tell me that you're really gonna show me how to scare off the customers, okay?
Damn it, he got me there. Okay, just why are you so tight-lipped about it, huh?
Because this is my business. I offer people an exclusive experience that they cannot easily obtain somewhere else. Why should I go loading off my trade secrets on the first freeloader who comes my way?
Cuz, buddy, you could go anywhere and anyone will put together an amalgamation of random bones.
Well,
But these bones that you happen to have are kind of like rare bones and dangerous creature bones, okay? I just want to
I
know,
guess I have a
please.
little more integrity than them. Good day, sir. I hope you enjoyed the fantastic experience of Winton D. Orbs, Canopy of Curiosities. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, for only 5 silver. And he goes back into his spiel.
I'll be back, you freak. All right.
And, as you flip back, you see Honeydew with the crate, and he says, Oi, no going back in. Gonna have to pay the silver again.
What? I was just in there.
Uh,
Natrix! Listen!
I mean, yes.
Logie!
We're just like calmly studying these artifacts. Like,
Yeah, Nostrix is looking at the skeleton, the
Come
creature
out
skeleton.
here!
We're not done
Yeah,
in here.
Come on!
Want to
You
go
can
back
wait.
in? Have to pay another 5 silver. It's
Can I
the
take
rules.
a
I
look?
made it very clear.
Can I take
did
another
make it
look
very
at
clear.
the at the daggers and so I'm not sure if they were daggers, like blades.
Yeah, investigation check.
Can I also roll it? Just to inspect. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, as you kind of gaze more closely at them, they are under glass. Uh, they look like they're probably made of steel and iron, most of them. Uh, and they look extremely old. They look like all of them are hundreds, maybe even over 1,000 years old. They look like they were taken out of the dirt. You see, whatever dirt they were taken out of was very fine from the quality of the silt that's still kind of embedded in the blade. And they don't look like they really match the shape of any modern blades, maybe at first blush. You can't say if they're authentically from Ferenthri, but they do look like some sort of artifacts.
Interesting. But none of them look like they're in like supernaturally good shape. Like, oh, this is very special.
Yeah, they don't look like magical blades. They look very mundane.
Interesting. And there's no like patterns or inscriptions or any sort of marks on them.
They're all far too weathered for that. Anything like that would have, yeah, faded away a long time ago.
Yeah. Logie just sort of shrugs, says, "Well, that was interesting." Sort of like when you go to the museum and you look at stuff, but nothing special. Sometimes
Whatever.
it's just a rock, just a dagger. It's like it's not world ending.
So I guess Notrix wants to have a look at this animal skeleton and see if he can discern what kind of animal it is at the very least. Like, is it a reptile or amphibian? Does it look any similar to the salamanders he saw in Free? Because it sounded a bit like that.
Yeah, roll a nature check. Yeah, you examine it up more closely, and it seems like it may have been some kind of a reptilian, but also just from the way it's grown so heavily and so ponderously, it feels like there's something unnatural, not to the skeleton that's been assembled, but to the creature itself that it came from. Looking more closely at it, you think that all of the parts of the skeleton are original and are not that old. They look like these bones don't look fossilized. They look like they're in better condition, newer than the skeleton at the back, and definitely newer than the blades.
Could I get like a date estimate on that, or is that too specific?
Um, it's difficult to say an estimate, but you'd say probably less than 100 years, which isn't a lot to go on, I know, but uh, yeah, it's definitely not like a centuries old thing.
Okay, but it's interesting, and it's not something Notrix hasn't seen anything like it before.
Yeah, not like this particular one.
Okay. Well, we already know that asking him where he got these things doesn't work out very well. So this is a darkish tent, right? Just lit up by a few
Yeah.
oil lanterns. Can Notrix
Mhm.
have a look around the tent other than the obvious three things and see is there anything else hidden in the back, so to speak?
Make a perception. No, I'm not going to make you make a check because the answer, no matter what you get, is going to be a no. It's a pretty Spartan tent. It's been set up very quickly. You can see that there are wooden supports that seem to kind of snap together that are probably, kept in the cart. And you can see that actually, like, where the knives are positioned is kind of partway on the edge of the cart that's sort of concealed by the tent itself. But yeah, there's nothing else hanging around other than the lanterns and the framework and these exhibits.
Okay.
No secret hidden compartments.
Just one more time. What were the two labels you said before, and what were they attached to?
This large heavy skeleton was called Brutalo, a Ravager of the Earth, and the one in the back was called Oculo, the Fiend of a Million Eyes.
And Oculo was the creature, was it? Or is that the other
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, Oculo is the humanoid one, sort of
Oh.
elongated humanoid.
And Brutalo is the reptile.
That's right.
Okay, so I should make sure I had those the right way around.
Though I'd say that you're smart enough to put together that those probably aren't any sort of scientific names, or maybe not even names that are used beyond this particular tent.
I'm just fair enough there.
Don wants to go to him and say, "You literally called it Octilo. I know you know what this thing is, okay?" He's like still harassing him, but he's like, yeah.
Yeah, at this At this point, Oreb is just ignoring you.
Ugh! I'll be back. And I just go back. He called Octala. How obvious. Asshole.
So, before we end the session, I want to cut away to the north of Ardoin. And this is actually a spot right up against the gate. And though it is technically in the city here, it almost feels more like the countryside because you can see the grasslands stretching out beyond. And I want to ask Alistair what you and Alcana are doing.
So, Alistair isn't an idiot. He's not going to go to his parents' graves. He's going to go like 2 or 3 rows in front of them and look like he's looking at those graves instead. But Alcana will be able to see his eyes are looking 2 or 3 rows back.
Yes. The graves in this particular yard are very humble. Some of them are just small, kind of wooden symbols of Saradomin or other gods. Some of them are small, just kind of flat stones on the ground that have had either just initials chiseled into them or have been painted with the names. It's kind of not uncommon here for the graves to not last very long. This isn't like one of the posh graveyards of the city.
Wonder which one Alistair's parents would have. Probably with the painted names. Honestly, that sounds like them.
Yeah, painted, has a sort of a little design on it. Something recalling the two people who were there, recalling happier times. There's not really anyone else around, though the mood is slightly spoiled by the tall towers you can see, the closest one a few 100 feet away. But there's a little bit of a chill in the air right here. The beginnings of autumn kind of seeping through. You can hear the sound of the river not far off.
You know, this is my first time here.
It is?
Yeah. I wasn't even here for the funerals.
Yeah, I could have mentioned something like that.
Of course you did. It's really sad to think about that it took all of this, for me to come here. That I'd have to be dragged back in chains to be forced to visit my parents' graves over a decade after they passed. I'd always said to my parents that I would take care of them when they grew up. But they didn't grow up. They died young. Naturally. Not painfully, thank God, but I never got a chance to, and well, I never would have had the chance to even if they had lived. He's laughing so he doesn't cry.
I'm kind of standing a little ways beside him, just kind of taking what he's saying in with this concerned look on her face.
When I think about all the things that they had taught me, it's not much, really. My father was a bit of a jokester, which is odd given how much serious business he was involved in. He was a writer, a journalist of sorts.
What sort of things did he write about?
News, just general things, nothing in particular. There was no particular subject for him. He just wrote whatever he found. But I always used to read the paper almost every day, looking for his articles. I think that's why I default to looking in the papers for information now, because of him.
Hmm.
Though I can't help but think of one thing that my father had once told me.
What's that?
He always used to joke around about me and the girls, obviously. I was just a looker even back when I was a child, you know. He always used to say how, oh, Alistair's going to be surrounded by girls, blah, blah, blah. Then there was one time where he said something very serious, out of character almost for him. When I told him that one day I would find a girl and he could stop telling all these jokes, and he said, no, Alistair, don't find a girl, find a woman. And I never understood what that meant until now.
Hmm.
Somehow I think they would both be proud of my choice, at least in that regard.
I bet they would. Now, Kana definitely seems to be taking in the atmosphere of this place, and well, she definitely looks somber. It doesn't look like she's looking at any one of the graves in particular, almost as if she's gazing at something in her own mind.
Sorry I dragged you away from that tent. I knew you would have liked to have seen it.
The others can tell me what they saw.
I doubt it's anything worse or more interesting than the things we've seen.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to beat that.
Worse than Notrix Dawn must be bored out of their minds right now.
You know, Alistair, I miss him. I miss him badly.
Me too. Funny to say, having known him for all of what, a week?
Yes, it did have a kind of effect on people.
Well, it's not so much that, it's... I know what it's like when a daughter talks about her father. And that's how you sounded talking about him.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I can't imagine how hard that must have been for you. Everything that happened. I'm so sorry that I just made it worse.
Honestly, there were points where I didn't even know I was carrying on.
Because you don't know what it means to quit. That's probably why Saradomin chose you for this, whatever the hell this is. Because he needed somebody who wouldn't give up.
But I guess I can't really stay down thinking mourning the past forever. The best thing I can really do to the face of all of this is to keep moving forward. Now, I think I was reflecting on it, and I think I figured out what the most important thing he taught me was.
What's that?
Reason why you do right, it's not about the titles. It's not about the accolades. It's not about the trophies. It's not about all of that. It's about doing right for its own sake. No matter, no one knows, understands, cares, or even hates you for doing it. And that's something you can build a bedrock on.
At this moment, you hear the sound once more of this loud horn, this much louder now, closer. And as you look across the river, drawn to the sound, you can see now much more clearly, this column of smoke starting to rise from within what you know are the walls of West Ardoin. And with that, let's go ahead and end this week's session.